Hello, sleepyheads, and welcome to Sleepy Cuties. Here under the calm of night, we gently drift into dreamland with the ones we loved growing up. The quiet, kind-hearted cartoon friends who made us feel safe, who still whisper to our hearts, even now. At Sleepy Cuties, we tell their stories, slowly, lovingly, like soft lullabies for the soul. So wherever you are, cuddled under blankets, curled up on the couch, or maybe lying down with headphones on, we're so happy you're here. Tell us in the comments below, where are you watching from tonight? And what time is it right now? We love knowing how far our little cozy world reaches. Now, take a deep breath. Let the day melt away, and come join us under the stars. Because tonight, we're spending time with one of the most loyal little friends we've ever known, Pikachu. The night is quiet, the sky a soft velvet blanket, sprinkled with sleepy stars, and in a quiet little forest, under the glow of a kind round moon, a small yellow Pokémon rests beneath a tree. It's Pikachu. He's curled up on a bed of moss, his tiny tail rising and falling with every gentle breath. Today was a long day, but a special one, because it reminded him of something close to his heart, loyalty. You see, Pikachu isn't just a friend. He's a protector, a companion. And no matter how far the journey or how dark the night, he stays, always by your side. Tonight, while the wind whispers through the grass, Pikachu dreams. And in his dream, he remembers the very first time he learned what loyalty really meant. It was a memory, not loud or flashy, just soft, like a memory wrapped in clouds. He had just met Ash, a strange, wild-haired human. At first, Pikachu didn't trust him. He didn't want to follow. He didn't want to obey. He was scared. But Ash didn't give up. Even when it rained, even when the world turned cold. Ash carried Pikachu in his arms, protected him with his body, and whispered, "It's going to be okay." That night, in the dream, Pikachu remembers the feel of Ash's jacket wrapped around him, the sound of thunder fading as kindness took its place. The first time he felt safe. From that moment on, he decided, I'll never leave him, no matter what. Now the forest around Pikachu sighs in its sleep. The branches lean gently over him, like guardians. A light breeze carries the scent of clover. Soft stars blink down from above, and Pikachu, still dreaming, rests with a tiny smile across his cheeks. Because loyalty isn't just a big dramatic thing. It's quiet. It's staying close. Even when it's hard. Even when no one sees. It's walking beside your friend. Not because you have to, but because your heart chooses to. And Pikachu? He chooses it every day. In the dream, Pikachu finds himself walking through a gentle meadow. The grass is tall and soft. The moon hangs low, warm and glowing, and tiny lights like sleepy fireflies blink all around. He's not rushing, not searching, just walking, quietly, peacefully. With each step, he feels something old and precious. Moments shared, smiles exchanged, all the times he stood beside his friend, without question. He remembers Ash falling once, tripping on a rocky path. And before the dust even settled, Pikachu was at his side. Not because anyone told him to, but because his heart knew. This is where I'm meant to be. Some loyalty is loud, but Pikachu's is soft. A silent promise. He remembers training days. Ash would get tired, frustrated. But Pikachu, he never gave up on him. He stood by, even when things went wrong, even when Ash lost, even when no one believed in them. Because loyalty isn't about winning. It's about staying. Even when the world says go. Even when you're tired. Even when it's hard. Now in the dream, Pikachu sees something glowing in the field. A little light. It's not fire. Not magic. It's a memory. A real one. He walks toward it and sees his tiny paw long ago, reaching up and gently touching Ash's face after a battle. Ash, bruised and smiling. And Pikachu reaching up, placing his paw right over his heart. No words. Just, I'm here. Always. The dream fades, and Pikachu sighs in his sleep. The night breeze kisses his ears. He curls tighter into the mossy nest beneath him. And you're here too. Listening. Drifting. Letting your own memories settle quietly in your heart. The stars have shifted, just slightly. Their sleepy glow still blankets the sky. But now a few clouds drift slowly beneath them, like soft pillows gliding on invisible strings. And Pikachu, still nestled in the moss, still breathing quietly, begins to dream again. But this time, he dreams of a time he almost gave up. It was a long, dusty day. Pikachu and Ash had been climbing a steep hill for hours. The sun was strong. The path was rocky. Ash was determined he wanted to reach the top before nightfall. But Pikachu, he was tired. His little paws ached. His legs wobbled. Halfway up the hill, he stopped. And Ash turned back, kneeling beside him. No anger, no disappointment. Just quiet understanding. He pulled off his backpack and sat with Pikachu. Didn't say anything, just waited. Because real friends don't rush loyalty. They don't demand it. They honor it. In the dream, Pikachu feels that moment again. The warm rock under his paws, the breeze brushing through Ash's hair, and the silence between them soft, safe, and full of meaning. After a while, Pikachu stood again, shaky but smiling. And Ash, he didn't cheer. He just nodded, as if to say, I knew you would. And they climbed the rest of the way, together, step by step, side by side. The dream shifts now, like a cloud changing shape. The rocky hill becomes a sky bridge, a floating trail of light stretching over the clouds. Pikachu walks across it slowly, each step glowing gently beneath him. And ahead, Ash is waiting, not calling, just standing, smiling, waiting. Because true loyalty never rushes. It always waits. The bridge vanishes as Pikachu reaches him. But there's no falling, no fear. They're together now, standing on nothing but starlight. And the world around them is quiet. Back in the real forest, beneath that mossy tree. Pikachu's ears twitch softly. His tail flicks, and his breath settles into an even slower rhythm. He's safe. He's warm. He's remembering. The quiet moments where loyalty wasn't tested by big battles, but shown in the stillness, in patience, in being there when it mattered most. So you too can rest now. Loyalty doesn't always mean action. Sometimes it means staying. Staying by your loved one. Staying true to your heart. Staying with yourself. Even on the slow days. Even on the tired days. Just like Pikachu. He doesn't need to do anything right now. He doesn't need to fight. He just needs to rest. And so do you. The sky above his dreams begins to change. Now it stretches wider, deeper an ocean of stars that pulse like a slow heartbeat. Pikachu walks a narrow path of light through the sky, his paws barely touching the ground. But he's not afraid, because he remembers another time, a time when Ash was in danger and everyone else backed away. It was a battle Pikachu wasn't strong enough to win. The opponent was bigger, colder, not just in strength but in spirit. Ash was hurt. No one else could reach him. Not the others, not even the trainers nearby. But Pikachu. He walked forward, step by step. He didn't flinch, didn't cry, even though his body shook, even though he could barely stand. He walked until he was between Ash and the threat, and looked up with steady eyes. I won't leave him, that look said. And then something strange happened. The air changed. The opponent hesitated. And the moment passed not through power, but through loyalty that refused to break. That moment stayed with Pikachu forever. Not because he was brave, but because his loyalty made him brave. Now in the dream, stars begin to swirl around Pikachu. And one by one they transform into tiny, flickering memories, each one glowing with soft yellow light. He sees himself sitting quietly beside Ash after a long journey. He sees himself nudging Ash awake before sunrise, ready for another day, just the two of them. He sees the times Ash fell, and he waited, and the times he fell, and Ash carried him. Their bond isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. It's stitched together by silent choices. Moments no one else noticed. Decisions made in the quiet between battles. In the dream, a voice echoes softly now, not words, but feelings. Pikachu hears it like thunder wrapped in velvet. You stayed, even when you could have left. You believed, even when I didn't. That voice is Ash's, not shouting, not crying, just remembering. Remembering all the times Pikachu didn't run, didn't hide, didn't give up. And now, as the wind hushes and the stars drift lower, Pikachu curls tighter in his mossy bed. His heart is glowing now, not just from memory, but from the warmth that loyalty leaves behind. Because when you give your heart over and over, without ever needing to be asked, it becomes something unbreakable. And that is what Pikachu is made of. Not lightning, not speed, but love that stays. It was a quiet morning in a small town. Ash had just finished a long region journey. Badges won, battles fought, friends made. And now, he was preparing to go home. But something had changed. Ash wanted Pikachu to choose. He looked into Pikachu's eyes and said, "You've done so much. You've earned a rest. You can stay here if you want." Pikachu could have had a peaceful life there. A beautiful meadow, a calm home, other Pokémon to play with. He could have run through the grass every day, slept beneath apple trees, and never seen another battle again. Ash didn't push him. He didn't plead. He just waited, with a soft, bittersweet smile. Because real loyalty doesn't demand. It offers a door and lets the heart decide. And Pikachu? He looked at the meadow, then at Ash, and he ran, straight back into his arms. No hesitation. No goodbye. Just a leap of love. Not because the meadow wasn't good, but because his heart was already home. Back in the dream. The field of golden flowers begins to sway, not with wind, but with light. Each petal glows as if whispering, "I choose you. I choose you again. I always will, That was Pikachu's quiet promise, not just once, but every time Ash gave him the choice. And every time he stayed. The dream deepens again. Now he's riding on Ash's shoulder, watching the world pass below. Cities, mountains, storms, celebrations. And through it all, the road, the weather, the years, Pikachu never stopped riding beside him. Because that's what loyalty is. Not one decision, but 1,000 tiny ones, made over and over again. Back in the forest, Pikachu shifts softly in his sleep. His body relaxes even more. His tiny paw slips into the moss like it's holding a hand. The wind hushes. The forest stills. And everything feels like it's waiting for something sacred. Because in this moment, the dream isn't just a memory. It's a message to you. That kind of loyalty, it lives in you too. Even when you're tired, even when the world feels far away, the love you've given, the promises you've kept, the way you've stayed beside those you care for, even when you could have left. That matters. Even if no one saw it, i.e., even if no one said thank you, it matters. You matter? So breathe in now. Deep, slow, gentle. Let that feeling settle in your chest. The warmth of staying. The courage of being loyal, quietly, fully, without conditions. You're safe. You're steady. You're surrounded by light. It was one of those days where everything went wrong. Ash was hurt. Not from battle, but from doubt. He felt like giving up. He thought maybe he wasn't meant to be a trainer anymore. The path ahead was full of unknowns. The old dreams didn't shine like they used to. He couldn't hear his own heart. And so, he said the unthinkable. He told Pikachu to go. Maybe you'd be better off, he whispered, avoiding Pikachu's eyes. Maybe you'd be happier without me. He meant it, not out of selfishness, but because he believed he was holding Pikachu back. And Pikachu? He stared at him quietly, for a long time. Then he walked away. Ash didn't stop him. But he didn't leave either. Just stood still, silent, alone, until a sound behind him. Tiny feet, soft steps, and Pikachu stood there again. Not because he had to. Not because Ash asked, but because he had gone just far enough to prove something. Even if he could leave, he wouldn't. Because loyalty means choosing again, even when it hurts. Even when you're unsure. Even when your heart is aching. Pikachu stayed. Not with fireworks. Not with thunder. But with a quiet step back. In the dream now. Pikachu stands in a field of glowing stones. Each one represents a moment of staying. A moment of choosing love. He sits among them. His eyes half closed. And lets their warmth wrap around him. And in this still sacred space, one final thought appears. Loyalty isn't about strength. It's about returning, again and again, to the ones who feel like home. And now, the dream begins to settle. Not end, but rest. The sky above fades to soft gray. Morning isn't far, but there's still time. Time to sleep. Time to feel. Time to simply be. Pikachu curls up once more beneath his tree. The stars have grown faint. But the light inside him, soft and golden, remains. Because loyalty doesn't sleep. It lives on, even in dreams. So now, sleepyhead, you can rest too. You've been on this long journey with him, through memory, love, and quiet promise. Let that warmth settle in your chest, the feeling of being there for someone, and knowing someone would stay for you too. That feeling is yours, always. So close your eyes. Float in the soft stillness of morning's edge, and know that somewhere in the forest, under the last glow of moonlight, a small yellow Pokémon dreams beside you. And he's not going anywhere. Because he's loyal. Because you are loved. And that's enough. Forever. In this next chapter of the night, his dream shifts and begins to carry him through moments where he was scared, but stepped forward anyway. The stars are fading now. Just a little. Their sleepy glow lingers at the edge of the sky, as morning begins to whisper from far, far away. But here, beneath the tree, in the quiet forest, Pikachu is still dreaming, wrapped in moss, tucked beneath a slow-turning sky. His breath rises gently, steady and warm. And in this new dream, he isn't thinking of loyalty anymore. Not exactly. He's thinking of something else. Something just as soft, just as strong. Something that always comes after fear. Bravery. The dream takes shape slowly. A small room. A narrow path. A mountain he wasn't ready to climb. Pikachu remembers. The first time he had to face a trainer he couldn't beat. He remembers the sound of the crowd. The echo of the battle announcer's voice. The flash of a powerful Pokémon stepping forward. He was smaller, slower. He wasn't ready. He knew it. He felt it deep in his chest, that sharp little ache behind the ribs that says, "I'm scared." Ash didn't push him. He asked, "Are you sure?" His voice was gentle. The world was watching. And Pikachu, shaking just a little, stepped forward. Not because he thought he would win, but because something inside him whispered, "Try." In the dream, that battle unfolds in slow motion. Not with lightning, not with action, but with emotion. The kind you only feel when you walk towards something bigger than you. Pikachu stood his ground, took the first hit, fell once, got back up. Not because he had to, but because bravery isn't about strength. It's about standing, even when you feel small. The forest breeze rustles faintly in the real world. Pikachu's ears twitch. His body relaxes deeper into the moss, and the dream shifts again. Now he's back in the forest. But it's not quiet. It's storming. The trees are shaking. The wind is wild. And Ash isn't nearby. Pikachu is alone, lost. For a moment, his chest tightens. The fear returns. What if I can't find him? What if I'm really alone? He starts to call out, small, hesitant squeaks into the wind. Nothing answers. But then, he remembers something. The last time they were separated, Ash had whispered, "Just stay still, I'll come to you." And so Pikachu stops. He sits beneath a tall tree, even as the rain comes, even as the wind whips through the grass. He waits, scared, but still, because sometimes bravery isn't running. It's staying put. In the middle of the storm, back in the real forest, the wind softens. A hush returns. Pikachu sleeps with his face turned gently towards the sky. And you're still here too. Still resting. Still safe. Maybe there's something in your life you're facing that feels just a little bit too big. Maybe your heart has been whispering, "I'm not ready." That's okay. You don't have to be ready to be brave. You just have to feel the fear and not run. That's what Pikachu teaches us. That's what this dream is for. So rest here. Sink deeper. Let your own bravery begin to glow, not in your muscles, but in your breath. You are strong. You are still. You are surrounded by safety. The wind has faded. The rain has stopped. And the sky in Pikachu's dream is clear again, washed clean, like something forgiven. The tree he waited beneath is taller now, older. Its roots stretch wide like arms. It feels like home. Pikachu stirs softly in his sleep, not waking, just shifting. Somewhere deeper inside, he knows. He made it through the storm, but the dream, it still has more to show him. Now he walks through a canyon, the walls tall and echoing. The air is still, too still. He hears something up ahead. Footsteps. Heavy ones. A Pokémon bigger than any he's faced before. A steel type, sharp and shining and powerful. Pikachu freezes. There's no Ash this time. No cheering crowd. No friends behind him. Just stone and silence. He could turn around. No one would blame him. He's too small. Too soft. But something inside him glows. Not like thunder this time. Like warmth. Like memory. He takes one slow step forward. Then another. And as he walks, his fear doesn't disappear. But it gets quieter. Like the echoes are walking with him now. He remembers what Ash once said. Bravery isn't not being scared. It's being scared and still stepping forward. So he keeps going. Not because he knows what's coming, but because he's ready to face it. Even alone, even afraid. The steel-type Pokémon appears in the dream. Its body gleams like metal under moonlight. It growls low and echoing. But Pikachu doesn't run. He plants his feet. His cheeks glow softly, now attack, but with a resolve. And in that quiet standoff, no, the bigger Pokémon pauses. It doesn't attack. Just watches. As if it recognizes something rare. Real bravery doesn't challenge others. It reminds them. Even the strongest ones sometimes forget what it looks like, and to stand still in fear and not back down. The moment fades. The canyon melts away. And now, Pikachu is standing in a wide open field. It's night, but not dark. The stars are brighter than ever, spilling across the sky like glittering whispers. He hears something soft behind him. Ash's footsteps. He turns. And they don't speak. They just look at each other, both tired, both stronger, both full of something deep. Not pride, not victory, but knowing that they have been through fear and come out glowing. In the real world, Pikachu's tail flicks faintly in his sleep. A gentle spark, a whisper of strength. And in the space around him, around you, a feeling settles in. You can do hard things, even quietly, even slowly. You don't need to roar. You don't need to prove. You just need to keep walking through your own canyon, step by step. So let your body rest now. You don't need to be brave tonight, because you already are. You showed up. You stayed. You're still here. And when you wake, your courage will still be with you, just like Pikachu's. Some bravery looks like holding on, but the deepest kind looks like saying goodbye. The stars in Pikachu's dream sky begin to dim, just a little. Not from sadness, but from softness. A hush has fallen over everything, a sacred kind of quiet. And the path ahead isn't lit by lightning. It's lit by memory. Pikachu walks a small road now, dusty, peaceful. The kind of road you only find once. At the edge of it, He sees a place he remembers. The ranch. The one where wild Pikachu live. Free. Untrained. Untamed. It's peaceful there. It smells like apples. The grass is tall and the wind is kind. He remembers it clearly, because he once stood at its gate. Not in a dream in real life. It had been a long journey. Ash had found the wild Pikachu tribe. They had accepted him. They wanted him to stay. And for the first time in his little heart, Pikachu wondered, would I be happier here? No more battles. No more long roads. No more falling asleep under the stars with his cheeks aching from sparks. Just peace. And something inside him longed for it. Ash knew it. He told him he could stay. He even turned away. Gave Pikachu space. Didn't beg. Didn't cry. He just said, if you're happy, I'll be happy too. Pikachu sat beneath the tree, watching the tribe, watching Ash walk away, and his heart pulled in two directions. But bravery doesn't always mean chasing danger. Sometimes it means choosing the hard thing for the right reason. Pikachu watched the wild ones dance beneath the trees, and then he turned and he ran. Back to Ash, back to the unknown, back to the hard road. Because real courage isn't about staying safe. It's about staying true. In the dream, Pikachu returns to the gate of that memory. He looks through it, smiles, not with regret, with peace. Because even though that life would have been calm, it wasn't his. He chose the road that made him stronger, softer, braver. Now the dream shifts again. Pikachu sees a young trainer, not Ash, someone new. They look scared, alone. Their Pokémon is afraid, hiding behind them. And without thinking, Pikachu walks toward them. He nudges the little Pokémon gently, smiles at the trainer. The way Ash once smiled at him. The way someone brave smiles when they're ready to share that courage with someone else. Back in the real forest, the sky is beginning to pale. Dawn is still far, but it's thinking about arriving. Pikachu doesn't stir, but his body is wrapped in stillness, not from sleep, from peace. He's faced the hardest kind of bravery, and now he rests. And you're here too. You've let go of things in your life, quietly, gently, even when it hurt. That's bravery, even if no one saw it. Even if it didn't look like lightning or noise. It still changed you, and it still matters. So breathe in. Let that truth settle in your chest. You've already done the brave thing. You woke up today. You showed up, and now you're here. Soft, still, safe, exactly where you're meant to be. Bravery isn't always for yourself. Sometimes it's for someone you love. The dream has changed again. Now Pikachu is running, fast, breath short, heart pounding, but he's not running away. He's running toward. He remembers this day. It had been quiet at first. A walk through a forest. Bird Pokémon singing. The breeze light through the trees. Then, a sudden sound. A cry. Ash was gone. Taken, not far, but out of reach. A trap. A cage. Set by someone who wanted to break their bond. And Pikachu was left behind. At first, panic rose in him like lightning. His heart sparkled with fear. But he didn't freeze. He didn't cry. He turned, and he ran. Through brambles, over roots, into shadows. He didn't know what waited for him. Only that Ash needed him. His paws ached. His breath came sharp. His cheeks sparked without meaning to. But he kept going. Not because he wasn't afraid, but because someone he loved was afraid. And that was louder than his own fear. The dream slows now. Pikachu finds the cage. Ash inside, hurt but alive. And beside him, a towering, cruel machine. Metal arms, blinking red lights. A voice that taunted. "You're too small," it said. "You can't break this." But Pikachu didn't listen. He didn't need to be strong. He didn't need to be big. He just needed to be brave. He charged. Not with fury. With love. And in that moment, his spark surged. Not from anger. From fear that loved too much to run. The machine cracked. The cage shattered. And Ash fell forward. Into Pikachu's arms. Not a word between them. Just the look. The one that said, "I knew you'd come." And that was enough. In the real forest, Pikachu twitches slightly in sleep. The muscles in his little legs shift, as if they're remembering the run. But there's no tension in him. Only calm, because the fear is over now. The dream is quiet again. And in its place, a soft glow settles over everything. A lesson, glowing like starlight. Bravery is loudest when it's quiet. When it comes not from the fight, but from the reason behind it. So now, you can rest deeper. Let this moment melt into your chest. There might be someone you've loved that way, someone you've stood up for, even when it cost you peace. That's bravery. That's real. Even if no one saw it. Even if you never said it out loud, you still showed up. And that matters. The dream continues. Pikachu and Ash walk side by side through a golden forest. No enemies. No storm. Just steps. And silence. And peace. Because sometimes, bravery leads us here. To stillness. To quiet. To the reward of having made it through. When you speak for those who can't, even softly, you become a light in the dark. The dream carries him now to a dusty roadside, a small town he and Ash passed through years ago. Faded signs, old shops. And behind one fence, a group of scared Pokémon, abandoned, mistreated, forgotten, caged for show, not for care. Pikachu remembered the smell, the fear in their eyes, the way they flinched at every shadow. And he remembered the trainer who ran it all. Loud, rough, heart closed like a locked box. Everyone in town ignored it. Looked the other way. No one wanted to get involved. Oh, too messy, too risky. But Pikachu, he couldn't walk by. He couldn't leave. He returned that night, alone. The cages creaked in the wind. The air felt heavy. And inside, the Pokémon slept like they had forgotten what peace felt like. Pikachu stepped forward, nudged open a gate with his nose. One by one, quietly. He led them out. No lightning. No roar. Just careful, brave stillness. Until the trainer caught him. A shout. A threat. A heavy boot step. But Pikachu didn't flinch. He stepped between the man and the frightened Pokémon, tiny body standing tall, eyes locked. He didn't growl. Didn't spark. He just stood. Like a shield. Like a vow. Ash arrived just in time. Not because Pikachu called for help, but because their hearts were so closely tied, and he felt the danger. He ran to his side. Spoke up. And the town finally listened. The cages came down. The Pokémon were freed. And Pikachu, quietly, walked among them, checking each one. No applause. No celebration. Just relief. And the kind of bravery that doesn't need to be seen, to be real. The dream holds still. The scene freezes like a painting. Pikachu standing in a field as freed Pokémon gather around him. Ash beside him. No words. Just wind. A kind of peace that only comes after doing what was right. Not for glory, but for goodness. Back in the forest, Pikachu barely moves. His chest rises slowly. His tail glows faintly at the tip, as if the dream has left a mark, a soft ember of courage still glowing. And you've done things like that too. Maybe not with cages or villains, but with kindness that stepped forward when no one else would. Maybe you spoke up for someone who couldn't. Maybe you stood between someone and harm. Maybe you offered comfort when the world offered nothing. That is bravery. Not loud, not cinematic, but sacred. So breathe gently now. Feel your own stillness return. You're part of that same light. And you don't need to do anything more tonight. The courage already lives in you. The bravest thing he ever did was come back to who he really was. The dream is quiet now. There's no danger, no forest, no sky, only fog. Soft, slow, endless. Pikachu walks carefully, his small body barely making a sound. He doesn't know where he is, or how long he's been walking. He just knows. He feels different, weaker, tired, and something inside him feels dim, like the spark in his chest is flickering. He calls out, not loud, just a whisper. No answer. He calls again. Still nothing. This wasn't a battle. This wasn't a test. This was a moment when he lost himself. The dream swirls and shows him the time it really happened. When Team Rocket tried to steal him, not just his body, but his mind. They built a machine, strange energy, cold metal, and they tried to drain what made him, his will, his memories, his spark. He fought it with everything he had. But slowly, the light in his eyes dimmed. The memories slipped. Ash's face faded. And for the first time in his life, he didn't feel anything. No fear, no love, no loyalty, just emptiness. Back in the dream, Pikachu stands still in the fog, his heart silent. But something inside him, something deeper than thought, stirs. He sees a flicker, a flash, not like lightning, a laugh, a smile. A boy with messy hair holding out a hand. Ash. Not calling him. Just waiting. And in that silence, Pikachu remembers. It's not loud. It's not sudden. And it's like a spark under snow, slow, stubborn, glowing. A memory of their first day. A moment when Ash protected him. A time when Pikachu took that first step toward trust. And the fog begins to lift. Because even when the world forgets who you are, bravery is remembering anyway. Back in the real world, Pikachu's paws twitch. His cheeks glow faintly. Not from a dream battle, from reconnection. In the dream, he runs now, not away, but home. The fog melts behind him. The light returns, and Ash is there, standing at the edge of the dream like he never left. Like he always knew Pikachu would find his way back. They don't speak. They don't need to. Their hearts say everything. Pikachu wakes slowly, in the dream, in the forest, everywhere. And now, he sleeps deeper, not from fear, not from exhaustion, from peace, from pride. Because he didn't just survive, he returned. He became himself again. That was the bravest thing he ever did. And you, You've done that too. You've come back to yourself. Maybe after being lost. Maybe after being hurt. Maybe after forgetting your own light. But you're still here. And that is bravery beyond words. So now, truly rest. No more steps. No more remembering. No more reaching. Just stillness and softness and warmth. You've walked the long road of fear, and you made it through. Just like him. Just like you were always meant to. And when you wake, the courage will still be there. Quiet. Gentle. Yours. Pikachu is still asleep under the tree. The wind is quiet. The stars are steady. And the dream now shifts. Not to thunder, not to battle, but to something slower, quieter, deeper. Patience. He never rushed. He just stayed and waited and loved. The stars above the forest remained steady, no longer flickering, just glowing softly like they too are resting. And Pikachu, still curled in his mossy nest beneath the tree, breath slow, heartbeat gentle, slips into a new part of the dream. This one is slower, warmer, not filled with danger or loss, but with waiting. He remembers a young trainer, clumsy, loud, so eager to prove something, but unsure what. Ash. Pikachu didn't trust him right away. He didn't want to. He kept his distance, ignored his voice, refused his food, turned his back on every cheerful offer. Ash tried, but he didn't understand yet. And Pikachu? He could have run. Could have disappeared into the woods and left the trainer behind. But he didn't. He stayed. In the dream, Pikachu sits on a hill, watching a younger version of himself. Quiet. Still. Watching Ash fumble with pokeballs. Trip over his own shoes. Say the wrong thing at the wrong time. And still, Pikachu waited. Not because he had to. Because something in him believed. Patience isn't just waiting. It's waiting with love. Pikachu saw the effort, even before the success. He saw the care, even beneath the noise. He saw the potential, even before the growth. And so he sat beside Ash. Didn't push. Didn't scold. Just stayed. Until the day Ash proved, not that he was perfect, but that he was trying. That was enough. That was always enough. The dream shifts. Now Pikachu remembers another moment. Ash frustrated. Training gone wrong. Losing battles. Losing hope. Pikachu wanted to help. But instead of pushing, instead of forcing, he simply stayed nearby. Quiet. Present. Letting Ash breathe. Letting Ash fail. Letting Ash come back to himself. That's patience. Not silence. But the kind of calm that creates space for others to grow. In the forest, Pikachu shifts gently in his sleep, a small smile in his breath, his body tucked tighter, like he's remembering how it felt to sit beside someone and wait without judgment. And maybe you know that feeling too. Maybe you've waited with love, held space for someone learning, given your time without asking anything in return. That's patience. And it's beautiful. And it's rare. So now, sleepyhead, let yourself feel it. Let go of rushing. Let go of urgency. There's nothing you need to fix tonight, and nothing to chase. Only rest. Only breath. Only the soft part of the night where waiting becomes warmth. Sometimes patience isn't knowing it'll be okay. It's staying even when you don't. The dream grows quieter, not emptier, just slower, like a stream trickling through fog. Pikachu walks through it softly, his paws barely pressing into the earth. He's following a memory, one that moves slowly, one that aches a little. A time when Ash had changed. They'd been traveling for a while. New towns, new challenges, new people. Ash started growing fast, new skills, new ideas. He was learning so much, but forgetting to look back, forgetting to slow down, forgetting to notice the small yellow friend who'd been with him from the very beginning. Pikachu noticed, and he waited. He didn't complain. He didn't fight for attention. He stayed beside him, walked behind, watched Ash laugh with new friends, watched him dream of new goals. And even though something in Pikachu's heart felt a little quieter than before, he didn't leave. Because love doesn't always speak. Sometimes it just waits. In the dream, Pikachu finds a bench, empty. Old wood, sun-warm. He climbs onto it, sits alone, and watches the memory pass by, like clouds in the sky. He remembers the days Ash forgot to say goodnight, the days he ran off with others, the days Pikachu felt left out, but never unwanted, because somewhere deep down, he knew Ash still loved him. He just didn't know how to show it in that moment. And that was okay, because real patience trusts the heart behind the silence. The fog in the dream begins to thin. The stream clears. Pikachu sees Ash again, eyes tired, pace slower. He's looking for something. And Pikachu is still there. Not bitter, not cold, just present. And Ash sits beside him. Without a word, he rests his hand on Pikachu's head. A quiet apology, a quiet return, and that was enough. Back in the forest, the wind sighs through the leaves. Pikachu shifts slightly in sleep, a soft pulse in his cheeks, like his little heart just remembered. I waited, and it mattered. And maybe you have too. Maybe you've held space for someone while they forgot how to show up. Maybe you've stayed loyal in the quiet seasons. Maybe you've been patient with someone else's healing, someone else's growing. That's brave. That's gentle. That's you. So breathe now. Let the stillness hold you. You don't have to do anything but rest. The waiting is over for tonight. And the comfort you gave others now comes back to you. You deserve it. The hardest one to wait for is yourself. The forest in Pikachu's dream is still. The air feels warmer here, like the trees themselves are holding their breath, and the sky is mirrored in a quiet pond. Pikachu walks to its edge. He sees his reflection, and for a moment, he doesn't recognize it. Not because he's forgotten who he is, but because he remembers a time he doubted it. The dream brings him back to that day, a tournament, a big one. The arena lights were bright. The stands were full. Ash stood on one side of the field and confident, hopeful. Pikachu stood on the other and felt small. He wasn't sure if he could do it. He wasn't the strongest Pokémon there. Others had evolved. Others had new forms, shiny moves, faster speed. And him? He was still Pikachu. Just Pikachu. He had the chance to change, to evolve, to grow into something stronger. Everyone expected it. But Pikachu had said no. Not because he didn't want power, but because he wanted to trust who he already was. Still, the doubt lingered. In the dream, Pikachu walks a long hallway. Empty. Flickering lights. He hears echoes, voices from the past. You'll lose, He's too small. Why doesn't he evolve already? Each word floats like mist in the air. Cold. Weightless. But they sting anyway, and Pikachu keeps walking, step by slow step. At the end of the hallway, a door. It's locked, and written on it, softly glowing, "I'm enough." But Pikachu doesn't say it yet. He just stands in front of it, quietly. Because sometimes, patience means waiting for your own heart to catch up, not forcing yourself to believe, but gently, gently letting belief return. The door opens slowly, not from strength, but from time. And inside, a single room. Warm light. No crowds. No battles. Just a mirror. And this time, Pikachu looks into it and sees something new. Not weakness, not doubt, but a tiny, flickering pride. He hadn't changed to be accepted. He hadn't pushed himself to fit someone else's mold. He stayed. With himself. Through the discomfort, just through the silence. Through the waiting. Back in the forest, Pikachu curls more deeply into the moss. His little chest rises and falls with perfect calm. He's not running from anything tonight. Not even himself. And you've waited too. For healing. For answers. For days where you could look in the mirror and say, "I'm enough." Even if you're still learning to say it, that's okay. Because patience isn't about arriving. It's about staying with yourself, on the way. So breathe gently. Be kind to yourself. Don't rush to feel better. Don't rush to believe all the good things about you just yet. They're true, but they'll wait for you. Just like you've waited for everyone else. Sometimes the most patient hearts are the quiet teachers. The dream opens on a gentle hillside. Pikachu walks slowly across soft grass, the kind that sways in waves, not because of wind, but because of peace. The air smells like spring. Everything here is learning how to grow. And in front of him, a small Pokémon struggles. A Pichu. Tiny. Shy. New to everything. Its sparks are clumsy, its footsteps uneven. Its ears twitch at every sound like they don't yet trust the world. And Pikachu remembers. He remembers what it felt like to be that small. To not know how to use his strength. To not know who to trust. To want to run even when someone was being kind. So he doesn't rush in. Doesn't teach with orders. Doesn't show off. He just sits nearby. Quiet, warm, and waits. The Pichu trips again, its little cheeks spark with frustration. But Pikachu doesn't flinch, doesn't interrupt. He lets it fall, because he knows that some lessons need silence, not solutions. In the dream, time slows even more, like the hours are folding into each other. Days pass. The Pichu grows steadier, still unsure but less afraid. Still clumsy, but more willing to try. And always right beside it. Pikachu. Patient. Present. Never tired of helping. Never tired of waiting. Because when you truly love someone, you let them learn at their own rhythm. Eventually, the Pichu sparks without stumbling. It smiles, turns to Pikachu. And for the first time, it runs to him. Wraps its little arms around him. And Pikachu, he doesn't say anything. He just holds that tiny spark in his paws and lets the silence speak. Back in the real forest, the moss is even softer beneath Pikachu now. The earth seems to breathe beneath him. The trees lean closer as if listening, and he rests. Because teaching wasn't about being wise. It was about being willing. willing to repeat yourself, willing to go slow, willing to wait for understanding. And maybe you've done that too. Maybe you've taught someone with your words or your silence. Maybe you've helped someone grow without needing to be praised for it. Maybe your patience became a place someone else learned to feel safe in. That's beautiful. That's rare. That's you. So now, rest in that feeling. You don't have to be the patient one tonight. You can be the one who's held. You can be the one who learns slowly. You can be the one who's enough, just by being here. No expectations. No pressure. Just peace. Some seasons don't move fast. They drift. And we learn to float with them. The dream is very quiet now. No wind. No voices. Just the sound of water. A lake. Still. Reflecting the sky perfectly, as if it borrowed its calm from the stars. Pikachu walks slowly along the shore. There's no urgency. No story to chase. No challenge ahead. Just stillness. And waiting. He remembers a time when life felt like this. Not scary. Not sad. Just paused. Ash had been injured. Not badly, but enough to stop their journey for a while. The road was closed. The battles were on hold. The plans were quieted. For days, Pikachu sat beside him. Ash sleeping, healing, silent. And Pikachu? He didn't know what to do. He wasn't used to not doing. But he stayed. The dream shows the little Pokémon curled in a hospital chair. One paw on Ash's blanket. Eyes half closed, watching every breath. He didn't fight. Didn't try to fix it. He just stayed. Through the waiting. Through the stillness. Through the uncertainty. Because some kinds of love don't need action. They just need presence. In the dream, time passes like clouds. Shadows move across the lake. The water never stirs. But something changes inside Pikachu. He realizes this too is part of the journey. The slow moments. The quiet chapters. The pauses where we feel stuck, but we're really just healing. Ash eventually woke, smiled, whispered Pikachu's name. And in that one soft moment, all the waiting became worth it. Because Pikachu never left. Back in the forest, Pikachu's tail glows faintly. A soft pulse, steady and slow. No rush. No storm. Just peace. And you? You've waited through uncertainty, too. Maybe you've had seasons where nothing made sense. Where everything slowed down. Where all you could do was breathe and hope. That's patience. That's strength. That's enough. So let the stillness hold you now. No more questions. No more answers. Just the space to exist, exactly as you are. The pause is part of your path. Sometimes the hardest thing is believing that good things will come again. The dream has faded to starlight now. Nothing but a vast sky above a sleeping world. No music, no movement. Just deep, endless night. Pikachu stands at the top of a hill, watching constellations drift. He isn't sad, but he's remembering something that once made him feel small and tired and quiet. It had been a loss, a tournament, a battle, a dream they'd worked hard for and didn't win. Ash had given everything. So had Pikachu. And still, they came up short. Ash sat by the fire that night, shoulders heavy, head down. And Pikachu, he didn't know what to say, didn't know how to help. He sat beside him, touched his hand. then looked into the flames and whispered something in his own heart. It's okay to not be there yet. In the dream, Pikachu watches that fire flicker again. The silence between him and Ash was heavy that night, not because of anger, but because they both didn't know how to start again. But slowly, the flames danced. The wind moved. The world kept turning. And with it, hope returned. Not loudly, not with fanfare, but like a warm breeze through tired leaves. Ash smiled again. Pikachu smiled back. And without needing to plan it, they started dreaming again. They knew they'd try again. Not because they were certain they'd win, but because they still believed. And that kind of hope takes patience. Back in the forest, the real forest, Pikachu sleeps deeply now, a faint, slow smile on his face. Not because of what he's done, but because he remembers who he is. And you've waited too. You've lost and tried again. You've kept going when it would have been easier to quit. You've whispered, maybe, into the quietest parts of your heart, even when no was louder. That's patience. That's bravery. That's belief. So let go now. Let this final moment soften you. No more lessons. No more stories. Only this. You've waited long enough tonight. It's time to receive rest. To feel the weight lift. To be proud of your quiet strength. The kind no one else may see. But that lives deeply in you. Pikachu sleeps still. And the stars blink slowly overhead, like the universe is saying, well done. You made it through. Pikachu's dream gently shifts again. Not into battle, not into sadness, but into something even braver, forgiveness. The stars are still above the forest. The wind doesn't move. Even the trees seem to pause. And in that pause, a memory rises. Pikachu is very young in this dream. New to the world. New to people. New to being hurt. And the very first time it happened. He never forgot. He remembers the shock of it. The betrayal. A trainer, not Ash, once tried to force him into obedience. Harsh orders. Tight grip. No kindness. Just expectations. And when Pikachu didn't respond, he was thrown aside. Left in the rain. Unspoken words full of rejection. That night, Pikachu sat alone under a tree, cold and confused. Not because he didn't understand cruelty, but because he couldn't understand why someone would choose it. Why someone would look at him, small, bright, alive, and say, you're not enough. The dream holds this memory still, like a glass globe in his paws. He turns it slowly. He doesn't cry. He just remembers. Then the dream shifts. Ash appears in the distance, wet, muddy, running toward him. Worried. He doesn't try to grab. Doesn't shout. He just kneels. Low. Gentle. And says, I'm sorry about what happened. You don't have to come with me. But if you do, I promise to be better. Pikachu didn't trust him immediately. Of course not. But he saw something in Ash's eyes. Something the first trainer never had. Remorse. Patience. Hope. So he walked toward him. Slowly. And in that first little step, forgiveness began. Not because the hurt was gone. Not because everything was fixed. But because Pikachu chose to move through it, instead of building a wall around it. Back in the forest, Pikachu's tail flickers in sleep. Not tense, not restless, just thoughtful. The kind of peace that comes after something has been gently released. And maybe you've known that feeling too. Maybe someone hurt you once, not in a loud way, but in a way that stayed. And maybe you haven't forgotten. But maybe, slowly, you're choosing not to carry it anymore. That's forgiveness. That's strength. Even if you're still learning how, even if it's still quiet, you're doing it. So take a breath. No need to force anything. Forgiveness doesn't need to happen tonight. It just needs the space to begin. And here, in this soft place, that space is yours. You're safe now. It's easier to forgive a stranger than someone you've shared your heart with. The dream drifts now to a rocky cliffside, ocean winds, waves far below, clouds moving quickly across a gray scow, and Pikachu remembers how quiet Ash had been that day. Something was wrong. He could feel it. Ash had made a choice, one he thought was right, one he believed would help Pikachu. He had accepted an offer from another trainer, someone promising to take Pikachu in, help him grow faster, become stronger. Ash had smiled when he told him, but his voice had a crack in it, like he wasn't sure if it was kindness or if he was just scared of holding Pikachu back. Pikachu didn't say anything, but his heart fell. Not because he was being left behind, but because he wasn't asked. He felt like an object, not a friend. In the dream, Pikachu stands on the edge of that same cliff, alone, watching the moment again, when Ash handed his Pokeball to someone else. And in his heart, something broke. Not loudly, not with anger, just quiet. Why? But then the memory continues. Ash hesitates. His hand freezes. He looks down at the ball, then out at the ocean, and finally back at Pikachu. And in that single moment of silence, he feels it. The hurt, the confusion, the betrayal. Ash calls off the trade, refuses the deal, says, "I can't do it. He's not just my Pokémon. He's my partner. He's my friend." The other trainer shrugs, walks away, and Ash kneels like before. Soft voice, open hands. "I'm sorry. I thought I was doing what was best. But I didn't ask you. And I should have." Pikachu walks slowly toward him, tired, hurt, but not closed. He doesn't run into Ash's arms. Not yet. He simply rests his head on Ash's knee and lets himself be forgiven too. Because forgiveness is never one-sided. Back in the forest, Pikachu sighs softly in his sleep. Not sad, not angry, just still. Like a weight he carried for years has now floated into the sky. And maybe you felt that kind of pain. When someone you loved let you down. When they meant well, but forgot how to love you in the moment. Maybe they apologized. Maybe they didn't. But if you've held space for them anyway, if you've begun the slow, brave work of healing without pretending it didn't hurt, that's real forgiveness. That's strength you ever talk about. But you've done it. And that matters. The dream still flowing. The forest still silent. The night still warm. This time, Pikachu doesn't remember forgiving someone else. He remembers something much harder, so forgiving himself. The dream is dimmer now, not darker, just hushed. Like the world is whispering, and Pikachu is walking alone through a quiet canyon. Stone walls rise around him. Shadows stretch long across the floor. This is a memory he hasn't visited in a while. The place where he once thought, I failed him. It had been a battle. Fast, messy, unpredictable. Ash had given a signal, a hand motion, a call Pikachu didn't fully understand. There was confusion. The opponent took the chance. And Ash was hurt. Not badly. Not forever. But enough. Enough for Pikachu to look at his own paws, his own sparks, and wonder, did I do that? In the dream, he watches that moment again. He sees himself panning, tail sparking from panic. Ash lying on the ground. People rushing in, voices rising. No one blamed Pikachu. No one yelled. But in his heart, he already had. The dream slows. Pikachu curls into a corner of the canyon wall. Small, tense. He remembers the days that followed. How quiet he became. How slowly he moved. How afraid he was of hurting again. He flinched at his own sparks. He hesitated in every match. Because guilt doesn't shout. It whispers. And it makes even the kindest heart feel sharp. But then Ash came to him. Sat down. Didn't speak at first. He placed his hand on Pikachu's back and said, You didn't hurt me. You saved me. We made a mistake. Together. And that word, together, was like a sunrise inside him. Back in the canyon, Pikachu stands now. The memory fades behind him, like mist in the morning. He breathes deeper. Forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's releasing the belief that your mistakes define your worth. And that's what he did, one breath at a time. In the real forest, Pikachu's paws stretch softly in his sleep. His tail flickers, but not from fear. Just release. The dream is doing what dreams do best, healing things we don't even know we still carry. And maybe you've needed that too. Maybe you've been carrying something you never meant to do. A choice, a mistake, a moment you wish had gone differently. But if you're still here, still kind, still trying, then you're more than that moment. And you deserve peace again. So breathe. Let go of the weight in your chest. Let go of the voice that says, it's all your fault. You're learning. You're human. And you're worthy of forgiveness, especially your own. Forgiveness doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. It means choosing not to carry the pain forever. The dream leads Pikachu to a wide open field. Golden. Empty. The wind moves gently through tall grass. It looks peaceful, but the memory held here wasn't. He remembers a trainer he'd trusted once, not Ash. Someone from long ago. A trainer who had once abandoned him and returned later, acting like nothing had happened. Smiling. Offering snacks. Calling his name like they still owned it. And something inside Pikachu twisted. Not in anger. In sadness. Because it's confusing. When someone who once hurt you comes back with open hands, but no real apology. In the dream, Pikachu stands in the center of the field, alone. And then the trainer appears. Familiar voice. Familiar walk. They kneel down and reach for him. But this time, Pikachu doesn't move. Not out of spite, but out of clarity. Because forgiveness isn't always the same as reunion. He remembers the ache of being left behind. He remembers how long he waited. How long he wondered what he did wrong. And now, with time, he knows the truth. He didn't do anything wrong. They just didn't know how to love him right. And that, is not his fault. So Pikachu lets the moment pass. He doesn't run, doesn't lash out. He simply bows his head slightly. I forgive you, but I've moved on. The wind blows gently across the field, and the trainer fades away. Back in the forest, Pikachu shifts slightly in sleep. There's no sadness on his face, no fear, just a soft stillness, like someone who's let go, but not forgotten. Because forgiveness doesn't erase what happened. It just frees you from the part of it that keeps hurting. And maybe you've known someone like that. Someone who tried to come back without growing. Someone who never said, "I'm sorry," but expected things to be the same. Maybe you forgave them. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you're still deciding. That's okay. You get to set the terms of your own peace. So rest now. You don't have to reopen any doors tonight. You don't have to explain your boundaries to anyone. You've already done the hard work, feeling the pain and choosing not to hold it forever. That's a kindness to your own heart. And it matters. Some pain has no one to blame. And that's what makes it hardest to forgive. The dream is wide tonight. Endless fields under a dark purple sky. No sound. No wind. Just stars, hanging like questions. And Pikachu walks slowly across the field. His paws don't make a sound. He's not chasing a memory. He's not running from it either. He's just walking through it. He remembers the day it rained too hard. The day the battle couldn't be won. The day someone they loved didn't make it back. Not from a mistake. Not from cruelty. But from life. From the way the world spins without asking. From the way time moves on. Even when your heart doesn't want it to. Pikachu doesn't speak in this dream. There's nothing to say. Only the ache of missing. Only the weight of things that just happen. No villain. No justice. No one to yell at. Just the quiet grief of how the world sometimes works. He stops beneath a tree. The branches are bare. The bark is dark. He sits beneath it and lets the silence wrap around him. He remembers the face he lost. The warmth. The laugh. The way that person used to hold him. Cheeks sparking with joy. And now, they're gone. The stars above him blink slowly. And Pikachu looks up. Tears in his eyes, but not falling. Not yet. Because grief doesn't always cry. Sometimes it just waits for you to forgive the fact that things change. And slowly, softly, he does. Not because it makes sense. Not because it feels okay. But because holding the sadness forever is heavier than letting it breathe. Back in the forest, Pikachu shifts deeply in sleep. His ears twitch. His chest rises slowly. There is no fear in him tonight. Only softness. Only a little more space in his heart for things that never had answers. And maybe you've known that ache. The kind that had no reason. The kind no one could fix. The kind that just was. Maybe you're still carrying it. And maybe tonight, you can begin the slow, quiet work of forgiving what can't be undone. Not for anyone else. Just so your own heart can breathe again. So exhale gently. There is no pressure. No should. Only this truth. You're still here. And that's enough. Remember, real forgiveness is quiet. Not a word. Not a gesture. Just the absence of pain. The dream is glowing now. Not gold. Not white. Just light. Pikachu walks through it. With no weight on his back. No story to chase. No one to catch up to. He's not remembering anymore. He's just being. But something's different. He stops on a hill, the one from before, where he used to feel small, where battles felt too big, where loneliness once echoed like thunder. But tonight, it's silent. And instead of fear, he feels space. He breathes, and the breath is light. In the distance, shadows of old faces appear. Not real, not haunting, just memories waving gently. Trainers, opponents, voices from old nights, even the one who left him once. They don't speak, they just nod, softly, and Pikachu nods back. No bitterness, no fear, just peace. Because that's what true forgiveness becomes. Peace. The dream lifts gently, like a breeze through warm leaves. The world turns softer, and Pikachu lies down right where he stands, in the open. No armor, no walls, no ache. Because this is the part where it all lets go. The blame, the guilt, the wondering, gone. In the real forest, his paws stretch softly. A sigh slips from his little chest. And you feel it too, don't you? The soft hum inside, as if something you didn't even name has been released tonight. Because this wasn't just Pikachu's journey. It was yours too. You've held pain. You've been wrong. You've made mistakes. You've grieved things the world didn't understand. And still, you stayed soft. Still, you chose healing. Still, you forgave not because they deserved it, but because you did. You deserve rest. You deserve space. You deserve nights like this. So sleep now, gentle one. The story is over. The dream is complete. And the heart? It's lighter than ever. Forgiveness was never about them. It was always a gift. For you. Pikachu sleeps, and the stars above him don't sparkle. They glow, warm, quiet, home. Now let's move on to Pikachu's hope. No matter what, the little yellow cutie was always hopeful. Remember, my dear sleepyhead, hope doesn't shout. It hums. Like a melody you forgot you knew. The forest is still. The fireflies are slow, moving in soft loops between the trees. The moss beneath Pikachu feels warmer than usual, as if the earth itself is gently encouraging him. And the dream begins. It opens on a cloudy sky. Gray, heavy, full. But even behind the clouds, light waits. Pikachu walks across a quiet meadow. There's no one else in sight. The grass is tall. The path is unclear. But he keeps walking anyway. Because something in him, some tiny pulse, says, there's more ahead. He remembers a time when everything felt paused. Ash had lost. Again. They had wandered from town to town, with no battles, no plans, no spark. Ash had stopped dreaming aloud. No new goals. No charts, no tournaments circled on paper. Just soft sighs and long stares at the window. And Pikachu? He felt it too. The stillness. The doubt. The maybe this is it. But hope doesn't always look like fireworks. Sometimes it's Pikachu placing a berry in Ash's hand, or dragging a blanket over his lap, or quietly standing by the door with his little tail wagging, saying, let's try again. Not out loud, just with his being. And one day Ash got up, packed his bag, turned around and smiled. He didn't say, I'm back. He just whispered, thanks for not giving up on me. Back in the dream, the clouds above the meadow begin to part. Just slightly. One sliver of starlight breaks through. Pikachu doesn't stop walking. Doesn't dance, doesn't cheer. He just looks up, blinks slowly, and keeps going. Because real hope doesn't demand attention. It just carries you, one tiny step at a time. In the real forest, Pikachu curls tighter in sleep. His chest rises with a slow, peaceful rhythm. No tension, no sadness. Just the quiet strength of someone who still believes even after the world has gone dim. And maybe you felt like that too. Walking through gray days, when the future felt unclear. When your heart whispered try, and your mind said why. But still, you tried. Still, you hoped. Even if it was quiet. Even if it was hard. That matters. So breathe now. Let that gentle flicker inside you glow again. No pressure, no timeline. Just a soft truth. You haven't given up. And that makes all the difference. The dream opens in a dark cave. Not scary. Just quiet. The kind of place where echoes feel shy. Where even your own footsteps seem unsure. Pikachu is deeper underground now. The light from above is long gone. But his cheeks glow, not brightly. Just enough to see. He's not alone. Someone is here with him. It's a little Charmander, curled up, trembling near the back wall. Tail dim, eyes closed. This memory is old. Pikachu remembers. They had found him like this once. Lost. Abandoned. Soaked from the rain. His flame, that little beautiful fire at the tip of his tail, nearly gone. He had stopped trying. Stopped calling out. Stopped moving. Stopped hoping. Ash had knelt beside him. Held out a hand. But Charmander didn't respond. Not because he was angry. Not even afraid. He just didn't believe in people anymore. Didn't believe in anything. Pikachu sat beside him. No words. No pressure. Just quiet present. And every so often, he sparked his own cheeks. Tiny pulses of warmth in the dark. Like a heartbeat. Like a whisper. I'm still here. You're not alone. He stayed the whole night. And the night after that. He didn't force the flame to rise. He didn't rush it. He just believed in time, in softness, in the slow return of light. And finally, the Charmander opened one eye, lifted his head. His flame flickered and stayed lit. Back in the dream, Pikachu watches that little flame glow again, soft but steady, bright enough to cast shadows on the wall. And he knows. Sometimes hope isn't a feeling. It's a gift. Something we give through presence, through patience, through love that doesn't give up. In the real forest, Pikachu's tail glows slightly in sleep. A slow pulse. A memory of warmth. No sound. No movement. Just the comfort of knowing he carried someone through their darkness until they could walk again on their own. The dream is dim again. Not because of sadness, but because of weariness. Pikachu stands at the edge of a frozen field. The sky above is a soft, pale gray. Snow falls slowly. Not in a storm, but like feathers drifting down from a tired cloud. And in the dream, Pikachu is exhausted. He remembers the journey that led here. One of the hardest. No food left. No direction. Ash, sick with fever, barely conscious. No center nearby. No other trainers around. No fire. No path. Just cold. And worry. And the deep ache of being the one left standing, when the one you love is fading. Pikachu tried everything. Sparks to warm him. Berries gathered in frost. A nest of leaves he built himself, paw by paw. But it wasn't working fast enough. And the voice in his head, the one that rarely spoke, started to whisper. What if it's not enough? He curled beside Ash, pressed his body close, let his own warmth leave him, just to keep Ash breathing. The snow kept falling. The night felt endless, and for the first time in a long, long time, Pikachu almost lost hope. But then, something gentle broke through the trees. Footsteps. A flicker of firelight. A voice. Not loud. Not panicked. Just a quiet, steady call. You're not alone. It was Brock. A friend. A guide. Someone who always knew how to arrive just in time. He lifted Ash gently, wrapped him in warmth, looked at Pikachu and smiled with soft eyes. You did so well, he said. You kept him safe. Now let me take over. Back in the dream, Pikachu watches the memory unfold from above. He sees himself. Small, tired, shaking. He sees Brock. Strong, kind, certain. And he realizes, sometimes you are the light, and sometimes you need someone to light you. In the real forest, Pikachu shifts in sleep. His breathing softens even more. As if the weight he once carried, has finally found a place to rest. And maybe you know that feeling, of holding everything together, of staying strong for others, of feeling like if you let go, everything might fall. But someone showed up, and a friend, a moment, a memory, something that said, you don't have to do this alone anymore. And that moment, that was hope. So let yourself relax now. You've carried so much, but you don't have to carry it tonight. Someone, somewhere, believes in you. And maybe they always have. The dream opens in a storm. A real one. Winds swirl through a valley. Clouds flash and rumble overhead. The rain doesn't fall gently. It whips sideways, wild and cold. Pikachu is soaked. Ash is nowhere in sight. And he's calling for him. Again and again. But the wind eats his voice. This wasn't a memory of fear. It was worse. It was doubt. Ash had fallen during the climb. The ledge collapsed. There was a scream. And then, silence. No trace. No sound. Just fog and broken stone. Pikachu had searched. Climbed. Dug. Called. Run in frantic circles, slipping in mud. Hours passed. Even Brock and Misty had gone quiet. Their eyes said it all. We may have to stop looking. But Pikachu didn't stop. He refused. Not out of denial. Not because he was sure. But because something inside him whispered, keep going. No map. No signs. Just faith. In the dream, Pikachu sees himself climbing again. Alone. Wet. Cold. Paws scraped. Tail dim. And then a flicker. A groan. A hand. Ash. Bruised. Trapped in a pocket of earth. But alive. Pikachu had found him. A minute before it might have been too late. Back in the dream, the storm clears. The wind softens. The clouds part. And a faint rainbow forms. Without color. Just light. Because some victories don't need to be loud. Some hope doesn't need a reason. In the real forest, Pikachu sighs in his sleep. A long, deep breath. The kind you take after the world says it's over, and you find out it isn't. And maybe you've known that kind of moment. When everyone said give up. When even you weren't sure why you kept trying. When there were no signs left. And no one would have blamed you for stopping. But still, you kept walking. Still, you believed in the impossible. And it mattered. So rest now. Let your heart remember that the part of you that kept going wasn't foolish. It was faithful, and that part of you is still here. Another lesson the little Pikachu gives us is hope whispers. Tomorrow might just be beautiful. The dream changes. This time it's not cloudy, but not stormy, not weighed down by old stories. The sky is gold, not sunset, not sunrise. Just that soft color of something beginning. Pikachu is standing on a hill. Beside him, Ash. Older now, wiser, quieter. And behind them, a path. One they've already walked. One full of memories, battles, friends, losses, laughter. But they're not looking back. They're looking forward. Ash kneels down. "Where to next, buddy?" he asked. And Pikachu. He doesn't answer with a nod. Or a spark. He just smiles. Because for the first time in a long time, they don't need a plan. They just need each other. And the belief that wherever they go, they'll find something worth discovering. The dream shifts again. It shows a village they haven't reached yet. A mountain they'll climb. New friends waiting just beyond the bend. And tiny, unseen moments. A flower Pikachu will stop to sniff. A campfire where they'll share soup with strangers. A morning where Ash wakes with bed hair and Pikachu can't stop laughing. None of it has happened. But all of it feels real. Because hope paints pictures with the softest brush. It doesn't promise, it invites. And in this dream, Pikachu is saying yes. Back in the forest, Pikachu breathes peacefully in his sleep. Tail flickering like a candle in a warm wind. Not searching, not aching. Just waiting for the next good thing. And maybe you've needed that reminder too. That not all hope is about healing the past. Some of it is about believing that something new is still coming. Something good. Something soft. Something meant for you. So breathe in. Let your body remember. You don't have to know the path. You don't have to fix the map. Just believe that the next step might be better than you imagined. And let that belief carry you. The dream is brighter now. Not loud. Not sharp. Just steady. Like a light that never goes out. Pikachu walks through a gentle field of wildflowers. The sun is low. The wind is soft. And the world feels quiet. But not empty. He's not young here. Not old either. Just peaceful. In the distance, laughter. Tiny feet running. New voices shouting names Pikachu doesn't know. Fresh trainers with wide eyes and big dreams. They're not calling him. They're calling their own Pokémon. And Pikachu watches. He sees little partnerships forming. Hesitant trainers kneeling down. Shy Pokémon peeking from tall grass. Small sparks. Nervous smiles. The start of something. And he remembers. That was him once. Scared. Excited. Lonely, brave. The dream shifts. Pikachu is sitting beneath a tree now. Not hiding. Just resting. And from the hill, he watches these new pairs, new journeys beginning. One of the young Pokémon sees him. A nervous little Shinx. Fur ruffled, unsure of its own paws. It slowly approaches. Sits beside Pikachu. Doesn't speak. Just, looks up at him. And Pikachu does what he's always done. He smiles. Tail flickering with soft, quiet light. No big gesture. No loud encouragement. Just a silent message that says, you'll be okay. Even when it's hard. Even when you're unsure. You're going to do something beautiful. Back in the forest, Pikachu exhales. Not from effort. Not from pain. Just the kind of breath that comes when something is complete. The kind that sounds like peace. Because he knows now. Hope doesn't stop with him. It never did. Every time he showed up, every battle, every dream, every quiet moment, he chose to believe. It created a ripple. And now, someone else will carry it. Maybe even you. And maybe you are carrying it. Maybe you've been through your storms. Maybe you've walked your quiet valleys. And maybe now, without even realizing it, you're becoming the light for someone else. Just by existing. Just by breathing. Just by still hoping. So close your eyes, sweet dreamer. You've walked far with Pikachu tonight. Through heartbreak, through darkness, through faith, through futures. And now, the dream ends in the softest way possible. With you resting. With hope. Gently glowing inside your chest. Like it always belonged there. Compassion doesn't ask questions. It just shows up. The dream opens in a gentle rain. No thunder. No wind. Just a hush. Like the whole sky is whispering. Pikachu walks through a village. Not one he lives in. Not one he's passing through for battle. Just a quiet place where something told him to stop. He notices a Butterfree huddled on a windowsill. Wings damp, trembling. A little too tired to fly. People pass by. Kind faces. Busy? No one sees. But Pikachu does. He walks up slowly. Tilts his head. Says nothing. Doesn't offer advice. Doesn't try to fix anything. He just sits beside her, tail gently glowing, offering his quiet warmth as a kind of umbrella. And they sit there for a long time. No words, no movement. Just presence. The dream shifts. Later that same day, the Butterfree's wings dry. She lifts slowly, fluttering back into the air. She doesn't look back. But she doesn't have to. Because compassion isn't about reward. It's about relief. And Pikachu, he just smiles. Back in the real forest, and I sigh, he stirs in his sleep. Tail flickers once. Then stillness. The kind that comes when you know you helped someone, even if they'll never say thank you. And maybe you've done that too. Not grand gestures. Not big, dramatic rescues. Just small kindnesses. Moments where your heart whispered, be there. And you listened. That's compassion. That's what turns a world sharp with fear into something gentle again. So breathe now. No pressure. No noise. Just let this memory remind you of how powerful softness can be. You don't have to fix the world tonight. Just rest. Knowing your heart already makes it better. Remember, compassion doesn't need a reason. It just needs a heart that says, I see you. The dream opens in an alleyway, a small, winding path between stone houses. Rainwater drips from the rooftops. Trash bins, old wooden crates, forgotten things. But someone lives here. A scruffy, limping Meowth. Not Team Rocket's Meowth, a different one. This one doesn't speak. Doesn't steal. He just sits in the corner, eyes half closed, looking more shadow than creature. Pikachu spots him one afternoon. Not during a mission. Not chasing badges. Just wandering through town, while Ash shops for food. At first glance, no one would stop. This Meowth looks like trouble. He growls. He hisses when approached. He hides behind boxes and makes himself small. But Pikachu pauses. He doesn't turn away. He doesn't flinch. He tilts his head. He waits. Hours pass. The town quiets down. Shadows stretch across the stones. Ash still isn't back. But Pikachu stays. One paw outstretched. Not close, just visible. And eventually, the mouth moves, crawls out, limping, wary. He sniffs Pikachu's paw, eyes flicking side to side. But Pikachu doesn't move, doesn't force, doesn't flinch. He just offers presence. And in that moment, something shifts. The growling fades. The fear dissolves. Meowth lays down beside him. Not close, but not hidden anymore. Compassion doesn't always look like hugs, or healing, or big speeches. Sometimes it's just being the first one not to look away. Back in the forest, Pikachu shifts gently in sleep. A little warmth curls through the night air. Not a spark, just a feeling of connection, of patience, of seeing someone others forgot to see. And maybe you've done that too. Not everyone looks like they want help. Not everyone asks kindly. Some snarl, some hide. But compassion means looking past the sharpness and remembering pain can wear many masks, and love often shows up first as quiet understanding. So let yourself soften, even in sleep, even now. There's power in simply choosing to see. Another dream begins in a forest clearing. Night. Fog. Pikachu is walking with Ash. The stars are hidden. The path unclear. Then a low growl. A shadow lunges from the underbrush. It's a Houndoom. Injured, frightened, and lashing out. Ash moves to protect Pikachu. But Pikachu steps forward instead. He doesn't charge. Doesn't spark. He just stands there, calm. Still. The Houndoom growls louder. Snaps its jaws. Lunges forward again. But stops. Just short. Because something in Pikachu's eyes says, I don't want to hurt you. I want to help. Ash is tense. Misty and Brock are ready to act. But Pikachu, he kneels down. No words. Just kindness. He sees the wound, a sharp tear near the leg. Bleeding. Raw. And instead of stepping away, he leans in. The Houndoom doesn't flinch this time. It breathes hard, eyes wild. But it lets it close, because compassion is disarming. Real compassion says, even if you bite, I won't be cruel back. Pikachu gently tears a piece of cloth from Ash's bag. He presses it to the wound. No spark. Just warmth. Just care. The forest grows silent. The fog begins to lift. And slowly, the Houndoom lowers its head. Not tamed. Not owned. Just understood. Later, when the group walks on, Pikachu looks back once. The Houndoom is gone. But something in the air feels lighter. Like peace. Like relief. Like trust. Back in the real forest, Pikachu breathes out, slow and easy. One paw twitching softly in his sleep. Like he's still holding on to that moment, not with fear, but with tenderness. And maybe you've known a moment like that, where reaching out felt risky, where someone was hurting so deeply they could only show it by lashing out. And still, you chose gentleness. That's not weakness. That's bravery of the heart. And not everyone can do it. But you did. So rest now. You've done enough. Been brave enough. Soft enough. Strong enough. Let that compassion you gave the world return to you tonight. In stillness. In dreams. In peace. The dream opens in a canyon. Harsh winds. Jagged stones. Dust curling through the air. Pikachu walks slowly. This memory isn't peaceful. It isn't warm. It's tense. Because up ahead, stuck between the rocks, is a familiar face. Gary Oak's Pokémon. A Nidoking. Huge, powerful, But right now, trapped. One leg pinned, bleeding, roaring in pain. Pikachu remembers how this Pokémon fought. Aggressive, mocking, rough in every match. And Gary, always smug, always cruel with his words. Ash had left that day feeling defeated. Pikachu had limped home after that battle, angry and scraped. This wasn't a stranger. This was someone who had hurt him. And now, he needed help. Ash froze. "Do we help?" he asked quietly. Brock and Misty hesitated. Even Pikachu took a step back. The wind howled. Nidoking snarled, teeth bared. But under the fury, there was pain. There was fear. There was need. And Pikachu stepped forward. Not because it was fair. Not because it felt good. But because compassion doesn't depend on history. It depends on heart. He crouched low. Eyes soft. Tail dim. Nidoking growled again, but didn't strike. And slowly, Pikachu used his paws to dig the rock away. Stone by stone, until the leg came free. Nidoking didn't say, "Thank you." Didn't bow. He just looked down at Pikachu with something that almost looked like regret. Then he turned and limped away. Ash rested a hand on Pikachu's shoulder. "You didn't have to," he whispered. And Pikachu didn't respond. Because sometimes, doing the right thing isn't about being right. It's about being kind. Even when it's hard. Back in the forest, Pikachu's face is soft in sleep. His breathing steady. The kind of breath you take after letting go of something heavy and choosing peace instead. And maybe you've done that too. Maybe you've shown kindness to someone who didn't make it easy. Maybe you let go of anger, not because they earned it, but because your heart was bigger than the pain. That's not weakness. That's growth. That's compassion at its highest form. So rest now deeply. Let that strength surround you like a warm blanket. You didn't harden. You didn't close. You stayed soft. And that's everything. The dream opens in a sunny town. Small. Peaceful. Not much happens here. Pikachu is visiting with Ash, just for a break. No battles. No training. Just quiet days, resting under trees, watching the wind move through laundry lines and flower petals. But even in peace, Pikachu feels something. Someone nearby is pretending. He sees her by the fountain. A little girl, maybe 7, hair tied in 2 uneven ponytails. She laughs loud, plays with other kids. But every time someone turns away, her smile drops. Just for a second. Just enough for Pikachu to notice. That evening, when the others head to dinner, Pikachu sneaks off. He finds the girl again, sitting behind a market stall, hugging her knees, talking to no one. Pikachu doesn't approach with tricks. He doesn't make her laugh. He doesn't ask, "What's wrong?" He just walks up and gently leans against her side. She looks down, eyes a little puffy. She sniffles once, but doesn't speak. Pikachu stays. Minutes pass. The sun lowers. And finally, she speaks, very quietly. "My best friend moved away, but I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me. So I pretend I'm fine." Pikachu rests his head on her arm. And in that moment, she begins to cry. Not loudly, not out of control. Just the kind of crying you can only do when someone lets you. Pikachu doesn't fix it. Doesn't stop it. He just stays. And when she's done, she whispers, "Thank you for letting me be sad." Pikachu nuzzles her cheek. Just once, back in the forest. He exhales in sleep. One soft paw curled near his face. Not saving the world. Not protecting anyone. Just being there. And somehow, that was enough. And maybe you've done that too. Maybe you've looked past someone's smile and said in your own way, it's okay to not be okay. That moment might have seemed small, but to them, it was everything. So rest now. You don't have to always be the one holding space. Tonight, let this dream hold you. Let the quiet whisper back to your heart. Thank you for caring, even when no one asked you to. The dream opens in the treetops. Pikachu is watching the world from above, not like a god, not like a guardian, but like someone curious about how all hearts move. Below him, a meadow. In it, a caterpie trying to reach a leaf too high. A pair of pidgeys squabbling over a shiny pebble. A lonely Psyduck sitting by a stream. Nothing dramatic. Nothing dangerous. Just life in all its tender stumbles. And Pikachu doesn't swoop in. Doesn't interfere. He just watches and cares. He hopes the caterpie finds its leaf. He hopes the pidgeys learn to share. He hopes the Psyduck in its silence knows it's not forgotten. There's no reward for this. No applause. No victory music. Just the quiet glow of a heart that says, I love this world, even when it's messy. The dream shifts one last time. Pikachu walks along a hill trail. Ash is beside him. No battles today. Just the sound of wind and their footprints in the dust. They see a stranger fall up ahead, a young trainer, frustrated with their map, clearly lost. Pikachu trots over, nudges their bag back into place, offers a quiet little Pika. The trainer smiles. Not a big one, but a real one. Ash just nods, says, you're always like that. And Pikachu is. He always has been. Not just in big, heroic moments, but in all the tiny, invisible ways. A tail wrapped around a crying Pokémon. A soft nuzzle to a friend's cheek. A pause to help a stranger cross a puddle. Compassion woven into the way he lives. Back in the real forest, Pikachu curls tighter in sleep. No dreams now. Just that warm hum of a heart at peace. And maybe that's you too. Maybe your days are filled with quiet kindness. You don't even notice anymore. Holding the door. Checking in. Listening. Caring when no one's watching. That's not small. That's everything. So rest now, soft-hearted dreamer. You don't have to try harder. You already are compassionate. It's in how you speak, how you wait, how you hope for people you'll never meet. Let that love wrap around you tonight. Let the same softness you give to others return to your heart. You deserve it. Pikachu sleeps on, tail faintly glowing, breathing slow and light. And the world? It feels just a little gentler. Because he's in it. Just like it does. We'll begin softly with Pikachu's gratitude. A dream shaped like thank yous, silent smiles, and the deep, warm peace of knowing you've been loved and you've loved back. Just say the word when you're ready to begin. The dream begins on a windowsill. The wind is quiet. The sky is orange, not from fire or storm, but from a setting sun. Pikachu is sitting there, eyes half closed, watching the light paint the floorboards gold. Ash is nearby, reading something, murmuring softly under his breath. They've stopped in a small cabin for the night. No goals. No rush. Just stillness. Pikachu rests his head on his paws. And without trying, His mind drifts through memories, not the big ones, not the battles, but the little things. The first time Ash held him without flinching. The time Misty gave him half her rice ball without asking. The time Brock made him a blanket from his own scarf. So many soft, unseen kindnesses, all woven into who he is now. He remembers how he used to hide, used to glare, used to be alone. But people came close anyway, and stayed. Even when he sparked in fear. Even when he pulled away. And now? Now he curls on windowsills, in sunlit silence, feeling safe. That's not small. That's everything. The dream shifts. He walks through a quiet forest trail. The trees remember him. The stones feel familiar beneath his paws. He passes a patch of wild berries. Once, long ago, he had shared these with an injured Evie. He remembers the way they had giggled. Sticky paws. Juice-stained faces. He smiles now, and softly, gratefully. Because those moments, the small, sweet ones, are still with him. Back in the real forest, Pikachu stirs in his sleep, tail flickering in a rhythm like breath. Slow and thankful. Not for anything. Just for being here. And maybe you felt that too. Gratitude doesn't always come with music or claps. Sometimes it's just that soft wave of, I'm lucky. This mattered. They stayed. You don't have to say it out loud. Just feel it. Let it rest with you like a warm blanket. So sleep now. Not because everything is perfect, but because you've been held, because you've loved, because you've seen moments of light, and they've stayed with you. Let your body feel what your heart already knows. You are grateful, and you are safe. The dream begins in a misty garden. The sky is soft, the grass damp. Everything is peaceful, but slightly blurry, like it's made of memory. Pikachu walks slowly between tall flowers. He isn't searching. He knows who he'll find. And there, beneath a sakura tree that shouldn't be blooming, sits Butterfree. Not crying, not broken. Just there, like they never left. Pikachu pauses. His heart stirs. Not with sadness, but with that feeling you get when you finally remember what you meant to say. And he sits beside them. No rush, no tension. Just the kind of stillness that feels like love returning. He thinks of everything Butterfree taught him. To trust someone enough to fly beside them. To let someone go, even when you don't want to. To believe in reunions, even if they happen only in dreams. He never said thank you. Not really. Not when Butterfree left. His eyes had been too wet. His heart too confused. But now, in the dream, his heart speaks clearly. He looks up and says not with words, but with everything in him. Thank you for teaching me how to love without needing to hold on. Butterfree leans gently into his side. Wings fluttering. Eyes closed. No answers needed. No stories retold. Just a knowing that sometime gratitude travels quietly, through time, through space, through dreams, and still find its way home. Back in the real forest, Pikachu breathes out, a tiny sound, like a sigh wrapped in a smile. And maybe you know that feeling. Maybe someone touched your life and left too soon, or quietly, or without enough words between you. But the love didn't vanish, and the thanks still glows, quiet, loyal, true. It's okay if they never heard it. Sometimes your heart saying it is enough. So rest now. Let your chest rise and fall with all the things you've been thankful for, but never said. They're still with you. They always were. The dream opens in a market not long ago. Crowded. Noisy. Sunlight bouncing off baskets and barrels. Pikachu is younger here. Not yet sure of the world. Still cautious. Still learning who to trust. Ash is bargaining for supplies. Brock and Misty are arguing over a map. And Pikachu, tired and a little overwhelmed, sits by a food stall, ears drooping. That's when she appears. A woman with silver in her hair, and smile lines deep as rivers. She doesn't speak Pokémon. Doesn't try to touch him. She just watches him, for a moment, and then gently tears a small roll from her bread. She sets it down near him, and walks away. No fanfare. No words. Just the quiet act of someone saying, "I see you. You matter." Pikachu didn't eat it right away. He waited. Watched. Listened to the world buzz around him. But when he finally took a bite, it tasted like more than food. It tasted like being cared for, without being asked to earn it. In the dream, Pikachu sees her again now, older still, rocking on a porch somewhere soft, looking up at the stars as if they're old friends. She doesn't remember him, but he remembers her, and that's enough. He sends her a wish, like a warm spark across the night sky. Thank you. You didn't have to, but you did. Back in the forest, Pikachu curls tighter in his sleep. A gentle hum in his chest, not from electricity, but from memory. From the invisible threads that connect us forever to those who once made us feel a little less alone. And maybe that's you too. Maybe you've done something small, a gesture, a word, a kindness, so quick you forgot it by sunset. But someone didn't forget. To someone, it meant the world. So rest now, kind soul. Let your own moments of quiet giving shine back at you like stars. You've given more than you know. And some of that love is still traveling, still reaching someone tonight. The dream begins in the fields outside Pallet Town. The sun is rising slowly, grass brushing against Pikachu's paws, dew glistening like stardust still waking up. There's no noise yet, no bustle, just birdsong and a breeze that smells like morning. Pikachu walks with no rush, each step familiar, each corner known not by sight, but by feeling. He pauses at a fence post. Once, long ago, he sat here with Ash after their very first return home. He remembers the way Ash had looked out at the sky, quiet for once, and said, "We've seen so much, but this will always be our start." And Pikachu had leaned into him, not because of nostalgia, but because of gratitude. Because beginnings shape everything. He walks past the old swing tied to the tree. It creaks a little in the wind. Still strong. Still waiting. He passes Delia's house, Ash's mom, where the porch light is always on, even during the day. She'd always saved him a plate. Always remembered what berries he liked. He didn't have to speak to be loved here. And that is a kind of miracle. In the dream, Pikachu hops up onto the roof of Ash's old house. He curls beside the chimney, eyes closing, and he thinks, I've seen mountains. I've walked through snowstorms. I've stood on victory podiums. But this place, this quiet place, taught me what it means to be safe. Back in the real forest, and Pikachu exhales gently. His body loosens, like he's returned, to somewhere soft inside himself. Not just the memory of a home, but the feeling of being welcomed. And maybe you've known a place like that too. A room, a person, a song, even just a feeling that wraps around you like a warm blanket and whispers, "You're not a guest here. You belong." Gratitude lives in those places. Quiet, steady, real. So rest now, sweet dreamer. Let yourself return, not with footsteps, but with memory, to wherever you once felt held, to wherever your heart still smiles when you think of it. That place will always know your name. The dream begins in a rocky canyon. The air is dry. Sunlight flickers between tall stone walls. Pikachu walks alone, not lost, just remembering. Because this is where he met someone he once didn't know how to love. Charizard. Big, strong, distant. He hadn't listened at first. Didn't follow Ash's calls. Didn't trust the team. And Pikachu? He didn't like it. Didn't get him. He was used to warmth, to closeness, to sparks of friendship. Charizard was cold, dismissive, alone by choice. But Pikachu watched him, day after day, night after night. He saw the quiet ways Charizard trained, the way he looked out for them, even when pretending not to. He saw the pain hidden behind pride. And slowly, instead of frustration, Pikachu began to feel something else. Not admiration yet. Not comfort. Just understanding. And that was the bridge. One night, Charizard was hurt in battle, wounded deeper than anyone realized. And while others panicked, Pikachu moved forward. He didn't offer a hug. Didn't scold or cheer. He just sat near Charizard's side, quiet, present, the same way others had once done for him. Now, in the dream, Pikachu finds Charizard resting by a cliff edge. No tension, no distance. They don't speak. They don't need to. They just watch the wind together, like two hearts that once stood apart and slowly found a rhythm. Pikachu leans over, softly bumps his forehead to Charizard's side. And in that small touch, the thank you is spoken. You didn't make it easy, but I'm glad we got here. Back in the forest, Pikachu's tail flicks once in sleep. Not out of defense, out of memory, out of peace. And maybe you've had someone like that. Someone you didn't understand, who challenged you, who made you rethink how love looks. But somehow they changed you. They softened something inside, or strengthened it. And now you're grateful, even if they never knew. So rest now. Let your heart honor the difficult gifts, the strange friendships, the ones that bloomed in their own time. Because gratitude doesn't need perfection. It just needs truth. The dream opens with rain. Not heavy, not stormy. Just soft, silver drops falling on a field of clover. Pikachu walks through it slowly, not seeking shelter, just feeling. Each step a whisper. I'm still here. His fur damp. His cheeks spark gently, not from battle, but from something deeper, peace. He remembers everything. The valleys, the mountain paths, the nights without sleep, the moments of laughter, the tears, the dizzying winds, the gentle losses. He remembers every hug, every home, every hand that reached for him in kindness. And through all of it, he was alive. The clover field opens to the sky. It's night now, but the stars are close, not distant pinpoints, but soft orbs floating just above the earth. Pikachu sits in the center, looks up, and smiles. Not because he's proud, not because he's tired, but because, he's grateful. Grateful to have felt it all. In the dream, he says nothing, but the stars seem to hear him, and they glow brighter, not as a reward, just as an answer. Like they're saying, we saw it all too, and yes, it was beautiful. Back in the real forest, Pikachu sleeps without twitching now, tail still, face soft. The kind of sleep that comes after a long journey, not when you're escaping something, but when you've truly arrived. And maybe that's you too. Maybe tonight you can feel it. Not everything went perfectly. Not every dream came true. But you lived. You gave love. You received it. You learned. And that is enough to say thank you to life itself. So sleep now, sweet one. Let the stars above you glow a little closer tonight. Let the wind hold you gently. Let your breath say the words your heart already knows. Thank you. I'm glad I was here. Now, we'll begin softly with Pikachu's intelligence, a dream not about books or tests, but the quiet brilliance of a heart that knows what others feel and acts with wisdom that can't be taught. Remember, true intelligence is knowing when to act and when to simply understand. The dream begins in a mountain pass, steep cliffs, loose stones, a path winding upward like a long ribbon of challenge. Ash and the team are hiking. Pikachu walks ahead, his steps quick and sure, ears twitching at every shift in the wind. He's not just climbing, he's watching. Brock slips once, and Pikachu is already there, pressing his paws into the edge of the pack, balancing the weight. Misty gasps, but before she speaks, Pikachu nods. He knew. Not with words, not with plans, just the kind of knowing that lives in the bones of the quietly brilliant. Farther up the trail, they reach a bridge. Rope, old planks, worn and weathered. Ash starts forward, but Pikachu pauses. His nose flares. He squints at the boards, counts the gaps. Then he darts forward and tugs Ash's sleeve back. He points not with his paw, but with his body to the planks that are loose, the ones that creak before they're touched. Ash blinks, smiles. You're right, he says. That would have snapped. And they cross safely, because Pikachu thought ahead. The trail leads to a cave, dark, echoing, inside. A wild group of Diglets and Dugtrios panicked from a rock slide. They don't attack. They don't cry. They just pace, nervous, trapped in their home. Brock starts to approach. Ash raises a Pokeball, I thought. But Pikachu? He lowers his head, sniffs, steps forward quietly, and starts digging. Not to catch them. Not to force anything. He's clearing a new path, one the Diglets can follow out, without fear. He moves dirt with quick little motions, not rushing, not scaring them. And slowly, they come. They trust him, because he understood what others didn't. That the smartest thing to do was listen first. Back in the forest, Pikachu rests with a little smile in his sleep. His tail glows faintly, not from power, but from clarity, the kind that comes when your heart and your instincts are in perfect sync. And maybe you know someone like that. Maybe you are like that, quietly sharp, not loud, not flashy, but always seeing more than others see, solving things gently, reading the room, acting at the right time. That's intelligence, and it matters deeply. So sleep now, sweet thinker. Let your mind slow. Let your thoughts rest. You've already seen enough. already understood so much. Let the night thank you for your quiet brilliance. You don't need to prove anything. You already shine. Next dream opens in a quiet lakeside meadow. Dew sparkles on the grass. Ash and the team are resting nearby, their bags dropped in a circle around a small campfire. But something's wrong. Togepi is missing. One moment she was napping on Misty's lap. The next, gone. Misty is frantic. Ash is calling into the trees. Brock starts checking for tracks. And Pikachu? He closes his eyes and listens. The breeze carries something faint, a soft hiccup. Tiny, like a whisper wrapped in feathers. Pikachu's ears twitch. He tilts his head. He doesn't run. He walks, because he knows panic won't help. This kind of thinking needs calm. He moves toward the sound, through tall grass, past a tree stump, over a cluster of smooth stones. And then he stops. A hollow log, short, wide, shaded. He peers inside. And there, curled up, hiccuping, scared but safe, is Togepi, tucked away by instinct, frightened by a sudden noise earlier, and unable to find her way back. Pikachu doesn't shout. He gently nudges a berry toward the opening. Softly, patiently. He waits, then leans just enough to brush his cheek against her shell. She peeks out, one big teardrop on her face, and he smiles, not with his mouth, but with his presence. "It's okay," he says without words. "You're found." Back at camp, the others rush over when they return. Misty hugs Togepi tight. Ash pats Pikachu's head. Brock beams. But Pikachu? He just sits down again, by the fire, tail flicking once, then still. Because real intelligence doesn't need a trophy. It just needs clarity. Back in the real forest, Pikachu's chest rises and falls. His ears twitch slightly in sleep, as if he's still listening to the world. Not in fear, but in readiness. And maybe that's you. Maybe you're the one who steps forward when others freeze. The one who notices the tiny clues, the soft signs, the quiet cries. That isn't just kindness. That's wisdom. So rest now, gentle genius. You don't need to solve anything tonight. The world can wait. Let your thoughts slow. Let your clever heart breathe. You've done enough. The dream opens on a windmill hill, tall blades turning slowly. Ash and the team have arrived in a small village, one with a problem. Their windmill has stopped. No storm. No breakage. Just silence. The people are kind, but tired. They've tried everything. The mechanic shakes his head. "It's too old," he says. "Nothing more we can do." They start to pack their tools. But Pikachu watches the wind, watches the dust, watches a single leaf drift sideways across the path, and his eyes narrow. He walks to the back of the hill, past where anyone else had checked. And there, nestled in a narrow crevice, is a family of Diglets. They've made a home right beneath the main turning gear. Every time the wind tries to spin the blades, the vibrations shake their burrow, and they push back, unknowingly jamming the base. Not out of anger, not on purpose, just scared, just trying to stay safe. Pikachu doesn't shout. He gently lowers his body, approaches the burrow with slow pause. He hums just a faint electric buzz, not a threat, not a shock, a signal, a rhythm. Something that says, "I see you, and I'm here to help." The Diglets peek out, tiny eyes, wary noses. Pikachu slowly draws in the dirt, tracing a gentle curve, a new path for their tunnel. angled just far enough to keep them safe without blocking the gears. It takes a while. There's no translator, no words, just trust, patience, shared instinct. And eventually, they move. The tunnel shifts, the wind hums, and the blades turn again. The villagers cheer. The mechanic is stunned. Ash grins. See? He laughs. He's smarter than all of us. But Pikachu? He just sits in the grass, watching the blades spin, watching the clouds drift past. His work is done. No medal, no speech. Just a gentle, thoughtful choice, and that helped everyone. Back in the forest, Pikachu stirs in sleep. The corners of his mouth rise. A little sigh escapes, the sound of a mind at peace with itself. And maybe you've had moments like that too, where everyone said it's too late, where others gave up, where you were told to stop caring. But you stayed curious. You tried again, and something shifted. That's not just clever. That's brilliant. So sleep now. Let the night spin gently, like a windmill in your mind. Let the soft gears of your thoughts slow down. You don't have to fix anything tonight. You've already shown that your intelligence isn't about being right. It's about being wise. And you are. Your dream opens in a quiet clearing. A campfire glows low. Ash and the others are asleep in their tents. But Pikachu is awake. Because he feels something. Someone nearby isn't resting easy. Across the clearing sits a trainer they'd met earlier, a boy named K. Kind, shy, always smiling. But tonight, he's curled up with his head on his knees, trying not to let the tears fall. His Pokémon, a timid Snubbull, sits beside him, confused, unsure how to help. Pikachu watches for a moment. Doesn't rush. Doesn't interrupt. Then slowly, he pads across the leaves and soft as moonlight. He sits beside Snubbull first, gives him a gentle nuzzle, calms him down. Then, he turns to Kay. No words. Just eyes. Just presence. And slowly, Kay lifts his head. There's no dramatic moment. No music. Just a small, tired voice. I don't think I'm a good trainer. Snubbull whimpers. Kay shakes his head. He gets scared in battles. And I don't know how to help him. I don't know anything. Pikachu listens. Really listens. Not with pity. Not with panic. Just with the calm of someone who knows this feeling. He walks a little distance away and gently sparks his tail near a pile of sticks. The fire catches. Just enough light to show Kay's tear-marked face and Snubbull's worried eyes. Pikachu walks back over and taps his paws softly against Kay's wrist. Then he presses his forehead against Snubbull's. The tiniest spark passes between them. Not to shock. Just to say, you're stronger than you think. Both of you. Kay exhales. The tears stop. Snubbull leans into his lap. No big breakthrough. Just a little more hope than there was a minute ago. And sometimes, that's all someone needs. Back in the forest, Pikachu breathes slow and soft. A curl in his tail. A stillness in his chest. Not every mind is loud. Some are made of quiet wisdom. Of knowing when to be still. And maybe that's you too. Maybe you've sat with someone in silence and made them feel seen. Maybe you've heard the tremble behind someone's "I'm fine." That's not just empathy. That's intelligence. And it's rare. So rest now, Heartnor. Let your mind be as soft as this dream. Let your intelligence rest, not because it's tired, but because it's done so much good. You saw. You felt. You helped. You understood what others missed. And that is a kind of brilliance the world needs more of. Remember, the wisest hearts don't just solve problems. They awaken strength in others. The dream begins at a riverside training field. The sun is warm. The river rushes quietly in the background, like a song that never ends. Ash is helping a new trainer, a girl named Nara, young, eager, and anxious. Her Pokémon, a tiny Chikorita, keeps missing her cues, dodging left when she says right, freezing up when it's time to act. Nara sighs. I've trained her for weeks, and she's just not getting it. Ash tries to coach, offers advice. Brock calls out suggestions. But Chikorita only grows more flustered. And Pikachu? He watches, then pads quietly to the edge of the field. He catches Chikorita's eye, and instead of calling her over, he does something strange. He starts mimicking her, not teasing, mirroring. If she flinches, he flinches. If she lowers her head, he does too. Not mocking, just joining, saying, I see how you feel. I'll meet you there. Chikorita tilts her head, confused, curious. She takes one small step forward. So does Pikachu. She lifts her leaf timidly. He twitches his tail gently, and something shifts. Pikachu walks slowly, then does a tiny hop, then another, then pauses, waiting. Chikorita follows, not because she was told, but because she understood, because someone believed she could figure it out her way. Nara watches. Something in her face softens. She crouches. Okay, she whispers. Let's stop trying so hard. She gently pats the grass. Let's just move together. Chikorita brightens. Her eyes shine. Not because she learned to move, but because someone finally said, you're not broken. You're just different. And that's okay. Pikachu steps back, tail flicking once. His job is done. Not as a leader, not as a star, as a quiet guide who helps someone unlock what was already inside them. Back in the forest, Pikachu curls his paws. A soft breath escapes him. His body melts into rest. He knows wisdom shared is never lost. And maybe you've been that person too, the one who waits, listens, guides gently without needing credit. The one who helps others believe in themselves. That's not just kindness. That's intelligence with love. Another dream opens in fog. Thick, silver, soft as silence. Pikachu walks carefully along a quiet path, the trees around him barely visible, the stars above hidden. Ash is just ahead, but he's hard to see. Even his voice feels far away. Pikachu? A little muffled, a little scared. And Pikachu? He feels it too. Something's off. Not dangerous. Just uncertain. A light hum begins. Low, vibrating through the ground. Suddenly, the path splits. One trail wind's left, smooth and familiar. The other dips down into the shadow, curved and strange. Ash starts toward the smooth one. But Pikachu doesn't follow. He squints, listens, thinks. Then in a move that surprises even himself, he turns down the other path. Ash pauses. Pikachu? But Pikachu keeps going. Not because he's sure, but because something inside says, this is the way, even if no one else sees it yet. He follows his instinct through the mist, ears alert, mind calm. And then he hears it. A soft whimper. Someone else is here. Trapped in a shallow hollow, half hidden by fog, is a tiny Vulpix, shivering. Alone. She must have wandered off earlier. No one had even noticed she was missing. But Pikachu found her. Not through clues. Not through logic. Through feeling. Through a kind of quiet, sacred knowing that comes from trusting your heart when the world is silent. Ash catches up moments later. Sees the Vulpix. His breath catches. Pikachu, how did you... But Pikachu just nuzzles the Vulpix's nose. No explanation. Just care. Just presence. Later that night, the fog lifts. The stars return. The team settles around the campfire again. Pikachu curls beside the Vulpix, who's now fast asleep, safe. He doesn't need to explain. Because wisdom this deep doesn't need to be understood. It just is. Back in the real forest, Pikachu's sleep is silent now. Completely still. As if the very earth around him is holding its breath in honor of all the brilliance he's quietly carried. And maybe this dream has reminded you that the truest intelligence isn't just in facts or plans or knowing what to say. It's in feeling when to act, when to wait, when to take the strange path, because something deep in your soul says, don't go that way. So sleep now, brilliant one. You don't need to explain yourself. Your wisdom is real, even in silence, even in uncertainty. You think in ways that help. You feel in ways that guide. You know, even when it can't be seen. And that is the brightest kind of smart there is. Let's begin gently now with Pikachu's Protectiveness, a story that doesn't roar. It hums. Because sometimes the strongest protection is quiet, a step forward, a glance back, a spark held ready for the sake of someone you love. Don't forget, to protect isn't to be fearless. It's to be brave, because someone else needs you to be. The dream opens in a sun-dappled forest. Ash and the team are walking gently down a narrow trail. The wind is soft. The leaves shimmer above like quiet waves of green. Pikachu walks beside Ash. Not on his shoulder today, but on the ground, close to his boots. It's calm. It's peaceful. But Pikachu is alert. A rustle in the bushes. Not loud, but sharp enough to shift the air. Pikachu pauses. He doesn't spark. Doesn't panic. He steps between Ash and the noise. Tail still. Ears high. Ready. It turns out to be nothing. A skitty darting through the underbrush. But still, Pikachu doesn't relax right away. Because to protect someone means to always be just a little ahead of danger. To listen harder. To think faster. To care deeper than the moment calls for. Later, by the river, Ash slips on a stone while reaching for water. Before he can fall, Pikachu is already there. His paws press against Ash's shin, his body low, anchored. It's not strength that catches Ash, it's timing. It's presence. It's the way Pikachu is always watching. Not because he's afraid, because he loves. That night, the team makes camp under a wide tree, and the stars peek through the leaves. Ash sleeps with a hand tucked behind his head. Misty and Brock are already snoring gently. But Pikachu? He stays awake just a little longer. Sits near Ash's side. Eyes scanning the edge of the firelight. Not tense. Just aware. Because protectiveness isn't loud. It's patient. It says, you rest. I've got this. Back in the real forest, Pikachu's sleeping form doesn't stir, but his paws twitch once. Maybe he's dreaming of stepping forward. Maybe he's remembering the weight of love he carries so instinctively. And maybe you've done the same. Maybe you're the one who watches the door, who checks in even when no one asks, who steps forward when things go quiet. That's not fear. That's heart-led strength. That's protectiveness. And it's beautiful. So rest now, brave soul. You don't need to be on guard tonight. You're safe. You're surrounded by love. Let the world protect you for a while. Your watch is over, at least for now. The dream opens at dusk. The forest is quiet, but not in a peaceful way. The air feels still, too still. Ash, Misty, and Brock have followed a shortcut suggested by a kind stranger. But now the path feels wrong. The trees are too close. The light is fading faster than it should. And behind them, something rustles. Pikachu's ears twitch. His fur prickles. He doesn't wait. He hops down from Ash's shoulder and turns to face the path behind them. His cheeks spark gently, not to attack, just to say, "I'm here. I see you. Don't come closer." A shape moves in the shadows, not a Pokémon. Just wild Pidgeotto, startled and flapping wildly. Still, Pikachu stands firm. Because that moment could have been danger. And if it was, he would have stood between it and his family. Every time. Later, the team reaches a clearing. Ash sets down his backpack. Misty sighs with relief. But one person isn't okay. Max, a younger trainer they met earlier, has been walking behind them all day, nervous and quiet. Now he sits with his arms around his knees, eyes wide. "I thought we were lost," he says softly. "I thought something was going to get us." He doesn't cry, but he's close. No one quite knows what to say, except Pikachu. He walks over slowly, climbs up onto the rock beside Max, and presses his little body against the boy's side. No sparks, no words, just closeness, just warmth. Max sniffles, then smiles. "You weren't scared?" Pikachu tilts his head. Maybe he was, but that doesn't matter. He chose to protect anyway. And sometimes, that's what being brave really means. Back in the forest, Pikachu stirs a little in sleep. His breathing is soft, even, like someone who knows they did the right thing, even if no one else noticed. And maybe you've done that too. Maybe you've felt fear and stepped forward anyway. Maybe you've comforted someone, even while your own heart was beating fast. That's not just bravery. That's protective love. And it's powerful. So rest now, gentle guardian. You don't have to carry everyone tonight. You've done so much already. Let the night hold you now. Let yourself be protected, for once. Remember, to protect someone is to say, you don't have to do this alone. And maybe you don't have to do it at all. The dream opens on a field just after rainfall. The sky is low and silver, clouds hanging like curtains above the trees. Ash has just met a new trainer named Luma. She's proud, serious, eager to prove herself. She wants a battle, a proper one. Ash agrees. But something's off. Her Pokémon, a little Eevee, looks nervous. Not scared of Pikachu, but scared of the fight itself. The match begins. Ash calls Pikachu forward. Luma points confidently. "Eevee, quick attack!" But Eevee doesn't move. She trembles. Looks back at her trainer, confused. Luma frowns. "I said go." But Pikachu doesn't strike. He doesn't take advantage. Doesn't follow the usual rhythm of battle. Instead, he lowers his stance, steps forward slowly. No sparks, no charge. Just a soft, gentle movement. Like he's saying, it's okay. You don't have to do this. Luma grows frustrated. Ash steps in. I don't think she's ready, he says kindly. Maybe she needs something different. Luma blinks. Something in her softens. She kneels beside Evie. I'm sorry, she whispers. I thought this was what you wanted. But I didn't ask, did I? Evie whimpers once, then nuzzles into her chest. The battle ends before it ever really began. But something more important happened. Someone was protected, not from danger, but from pressure. From being pushed too far, too fast. Back by the trees, Pikachu sits quietly, watching the clouds drift low. Ash rubs his head. You knew, didn't you? Pikachu closes his eyes. He didn't need to win. He just needed to be kind. Back in the real forest, Pikachu's tail flicks once in sleep. Not in tension, but in memory. Of a moment when stillness was stronger than any spark. And maybe you've done that too. Maybe you've told someone they didn't have to be ready yet. That it was okay to pause, to rest, to not perform. That's not giving up. That's protective grace. So rest now, soft-hearted protector. You don't always have to be the shield or the sword. Sometimes, being the quiet voice that says, it's okay, is enough. And tonight, you deserve to hear it too. It's okay. You've done enough. You are enough. Don't forget, protection isn't always about being close. Sometimes it's about finding your way through the dark, because someone needs you on the other side. The dream opens in a misty forest clearing. It's morning. The world is waking slowly. The air is damp. The ground soft. But something's wrong. Ash is calling. Calling loudly, frantically. Pikachu? It happened early that day, a sudden rock slide on the trail. The team scattered to avoid it. Everyone was fine, except Pikachu. He tumbled off a low ledge, softly, not hurt, but by the time the dust settled, he was gone. Now Pikachu wakes under a twisted root, alone. No team, no Ash. But his heart doesn't panic. It beats, steady, focused. Because he knows Ash is out there, worried, searching. And Pikachu has to find his way back. Not because Ash needs saving, but because he needs comfort. And that Pikachu can give. He climbs the hill slowly, listening for familiar sounds, the creak of Ash's backpack, the way he says buddy when he's worried. But the forest is noisy, too noisy. So Pikachu does something else. He closes his eyes and listens not with ears, but with memory. He remembers where they'd walked before. The smell of Ash's trail mix, the slight curve in the mossy tree where they stopped to rest. And step by step, he finds the path. Far ahead, Ash crouches in the trail, hands in his hair, his voice low now, barely calling anymore. Then, a soft crunch, a leaf, a footstep, and Pikachu walks out of the trees, covered in dust, a little muddy, but calm, bright-eyed. Ash rushes forward. Pikachu! He scoops him up, holds him tight. Doesn't say much, doesn't need to. Pikachu's tail curls gently behind him. He wasn't lost, just returning. That night, the camp is quieter than usual. Ash falls asleep with one hand resting on Pikachu's back, like he's still making sure he's there. Pikachu doesn't mind, because even protectors, they need to be held sometimes. Back in the real forest, Pikachu's sleep is deep now. The kind of rest that comes after you've made it home. And maybe you know what that feels like too. Maybe you've had to walk back towards someone. Maybe you felt that pull, that knowing that you were needed, even if no one asked. That's not just devotion. That's love-led protectiveness. And it matters more than anyone knows. So sleep now, Pathfinder, Protector. You found your way. You're safe now. And those you love can rest because you are near. Remember, not all wounds are loud. Not all battles are visible. And not all protectors wear armor. The dream begins in a quiet town at twilight. Ash and the team have stopped for the night, setting up near a fountain that trickles gently under the stars. Most of the town is asleep, but one small house has a porch light on, and a little figure sitting quietly out front. It's an old man. Alone. His Pokémon? A wise old Growlithe passed away years ago. He doesn't say much. Just sits in a rocking chair, watching the night roll in. And behind him, inside the house, silence. The kind that doesn't come from peace. The kind that comes from missing something. Pikachu notices him during a quiet walk around the square. He pauses, ears twitching. Then, without being told, he walks over. He doesn't bark, doesn't beg. He just hops up onto the porch and sits beside the man's feet. The man doesn't speak, just looks down. His eyes crinkle. "You're not mine," he says softly. "But you remind me of someone." Pikachu doesn't respond, just leans gently against his leg. The man exhales. "I used to have a friend like you." They sit like that a long time. No movement, no words, just quiet togetherness. Because sometimes being there is the protection. Protecting someone from feeling invisible, from being forgotten, from fading into the quiet without a single soul seeing them. Later, Ash walks over on soft-footed and careful. The old man nods. He's got a good heart, that one. Ash smiles. "I know. They don't ask for a photo. Don't ask his name. They just share a moment, a warm goodbye." And when Pikachu hops down from the porch, he pauses, looks up, and gently taps his paw against the man's hand once, like saying, "You're still loved, even if no one says it out loud." That night, Pikachu sleeps with his head tucked under Ash's arm, closer than usual. Because even the strongest hearts need softness too. And maybe you've been that for someone. Maybe you've shown up when no one else did. Maybe you've stayed quietly beside someone, until the silence didn't feel so heavy anymore. That's real protectiveness. And it lasts. So rest now, gentle heart. You don't need to fill every silence. You already light up the dark just by being there. Let your soul breathe tonight. Let your heart be held. You've guarded more than you know. Keep that in mind. To protect is to love with action. To choose someone else's peace, even if it costs you your own. The dream begins on a high mountain pass. The team is traveling through wind and cold. The path is narrow, the air thin. The sun is gone, hidden behind pale clouds. Ash is shivering slightly, his coat zipped up tight. Let's begin gently now with Pikachu's Protectiveness, a story that doesn't roar. It hums. Because sometimes the strongest protection is quiet, a step forward, a glance back, a spark held ready for the sake of someone you love. Don't forget, to protect isn't to be fearless. It's to be brave, because someone else needs you to be. The dream opens in a sun-dappled forest. Ash and the team are walking gently down a narrow trail. The wind is soft. The leaves shimmer above like quiet waves of green. Pikachu walks beside Ash. Not on his shoulder today, but on the ground, close to his boots. It's calm. It's peaceful. But Pikachu is alert. A rustle in the bushes. Not loud, but sharp enough to shift the air. Pikachu pauses. He doesn't spark. Doesn't panic. He steps between Ash and the noise. Tail still. Ears high. Ready. It turns out to be nothing. A skitty darting through the underbrush. But still, Pikachu doesn't relax right away. Because to protect someone means to always be just a little ahead of danger. To listen harder. To think faster. To care deeper than the moment calls for. Later, by the river, Ash slips on a stone while reaching for water. Before he can fall, Pikachu is already there. His paws press against Ash's shin, his body low, anchored. It's not strength that catches Ash, it's timing. It's presence. It's the way Pikachu is always watching. Not because he's afraid, because he loves. That night, the team makes camp under a wide tree, and the stars peek through the leaves. Ash sleeps with a hand tucked behind his head. Misty and Brock are already snoring gently. But Pikachu? He stays awake just a little longer, sits near Ash's side, eyes scanning the edge of the firelight. Not tense, just aware. Because protectiveness isn't loud. It's patient. It says, you rest. I've got this. Back in the real forest, Pikachu's sleeping form doesn't stir, but his paws twitch once. Maybe he's dreaming of stepping forward. Maybe he's remembering the weight of love he carries so instinctively. And maybe you've done the same. Maybe you're the one who watches the door, who checks in even when no one asks, who steps forward when things go quiet. That's not fear. That's heart-led strength. That's protectiveness. And it's beautiful. So rest now, brave soul. You don't need to be on guard tonight. You're safe. You're surrounded by love. Let the world protect you for a while. Your watch is over, at least for now. The dream opens at dusk. The forest is quiet, but not in a peaceful way. The air feels still, too still. Ash, Misty, and Brock have followed a shortcut suggested by a kind stranger. But now the path feels wrong. The trees are too close. The light is fading faster than it should. And behind them, something rustles. Pikachu's ears twitch. His fur prickles. He doesn't wait. He hops down from Ash's shoulder and turns to face the path behind them. His cheeks spark gently, not to attack, just to say, I'm here. I see you. Don't come closer. A shape moves in the shadows, not a Pokémon. Just a wild Pidgeotto, startled and flapping wildly. Still, Pikachu stands firm. Because that moment could have been danger. And if it was, he would have stood between it and his family. Every time. Later, the team reaches a clearing. Ash sets down his backpack. Misty sighs with relief. But one person isn't okay. Max, a younger trainer they met earlier, has been walking behind them all day, nervous and quiet. Now he sits with his arms around his knees, eyes wide. I thought we were lost, he says softly. I thought something was going to get us. He doesn't cry, but he's close. No one quite knows what to say, except Pikachu. He walks over slowly, climbs up onto the rock beside Max, and presses his little body against the boy's side. No sparks, no words, just closeness, just one. Max sniffles. then smiles. You weren't scared? Pikachu tilts his head. Maybe he was, but that doesn't matter. He chose to protect anyway. And sometimes, that's what being brave really means. Back in the forest, Pikachu stirs a little in sleep. His breathing is soft, even, like someone who knows they did the right thing, even if no one else noticed. And maybe you've done that too. Maybe you felt fear and stepped forward anyway. Maybe you've comforted someone, even while your own heart was beating fast. That's not just bravery. That's protective love. And it's powerful. So rest now, gentle guardian. You don't have to carry everyone tonight. You've done so much already. Let the night hold you now. Let yourself be protected, for once. Remember, to protect someone is to say, you don't have to do this alone. And maybe you don't have to do it at all. The dream opens on a field just after rainfall. The sky is low and silver, clouds hanging like curtains above the trees. Ash has just met a new trainer named Luma. She's proud, serious, eager to prove herself. She wants a battle, a proper one. Ash agrees. But something's off. Her Pokémon, a little Eevee, looks nervous. Not scared of Pikachu, but scared of the fight itself. The match begins. Ash calls Pikachu forward. Luma points confidently. Eevee, quick attack! But Eevee doesn't move. She trembles. Looks back at her trainer, confused. Luma frowns. I said go. But Pikachu doesn't strike. He doesn't take advantage. Doesn't follow the usual rhythm of battle. Instead, he lowers his stance. Steps forward slowly. No sparks. No charge. Just a soft, gentle movement. Like he's saying, it's okay. You don't have to do this. Luma grows frustrated. Ash steps in. I don't think she's ready, he says kindly. Maybe she needs something different. Luma blinks. Something in her softens. She kneels beside Eevee. I'm sorry, she whispers. I thought this was what you wanted. But I didn't ask, did I? Eevee whimpers once, then nuzzles into her chest. The battle ends before it ever really began. But something more important happened. Someone was protected, not from danger, but from pressure. From being pushed too far, too fast. Back by the trees, Pikachu sits quietly, watching the clouds drift low. Ash rubs his head. You knew, didn't you? Pikachu closes his eyes. He didn't need to win. He just needed to be kind. Back in the real forest, Pikachu's tail flicks once in sleep. Not in tension, but in memory. Of a moment when stillness was stronger than any spark. And maybe you've done that too. Maybe you've told someone they didn't have to be ready yet. That it was okay to pause, to rest, to not perform. That's not giving up. That's protective grace. So rest now, soft-hearted protector. You don't always have to be the shield or the sword. Sometimes, being the quiet voice that says, it's okay, is enough. And tonight, you deserve to hear it too. It's okay. You've done enough. You are enough. Don't forget, protection isn't always about being close. Sometimes it's about finding your way through the dark, because someone needs you on the other side. The dream opens in a misty forest clearing. It's morning. The world is waking slowly. The air is damp. The ground soft. But something's wrong. Ash is calling. Calling loudly, frantically. Pikachu? It happened early that day, a sudden rock slide on the trail. The team scattered to avoid it. Everyone was fine, except Pikachu. He tumbled off a low ledge, softly, not hurt, but by the time the dust settled, he was gone. Now Pikachu wakes under a twisted root, alone. No team, no Ash. But his heart doesn't panic. It beats, steady, focused, because he knows Ash is out there, worried, searching. And Pikachu has to find his way back, not because Ash needs saving, but because he needs comfort. And that Pikachu can give. He climbs the hill slowly, listening for familiar sounds, the creak of Ash's backpack, the way he says buddy when he's worried. But the forest is noisy, too noisy. So Pikachu does something else. He closes his eyes and listens not with ears, but with memory. He remembers where they'd walked before. The smell of Ash's trail mix, the slight curve in the mossy tree where they stopped to rest. And step by step, he finds the path. Far ahead, Ash crouches in the trail, hands in his hair, his voice low now, barely calling anymore. Then, a soft crunch, a leaf, a footstep, and Pikachu walks out of the trees, covered in dust, a little muddy, but calm, bright-eyed. Ash rushes forward. Pikachu! He scoops him up, holds him tight. Doesn't say much, doesn't need to. Pikachu's tail curls gently behind him. He wasn't lost, just returning. That night, the camp is quieter than usual. Ash falls asleep with one hand resting on Pikachu's back, like he's still making sure he's there. Pikachu doesn't mind, because even protectors, they need to be held sometimes. Back in the real forest, Pikachu's sleep is deep now, the kind of rest that comes after you've made it home. And maybe you know what that feels like too. Maybe you've had to walk back towards someone. Maybe you felt that pull, that knowing that you were needed, even if no one asked. That's not just devotion. That's love-led protectiveness. And it matters more than anyone knows. So sleep now, Pathfinder, Protector. You found your way. You're safe now. And those you love can rest because you are near. Remember, not all wounds are loud. Not all battles are visible. And not all protectors wear armor. The dream begins in a quiet town at twilight. Ash and the team have stopped for the night, setting up near a fountain that trickles gently under the stars. Most of the town is asleep, but one small house has a porch light on, and a little figure sitting quietly out front. It's an old man, alone. His Pokémon, a wise old Growlithe, passed away years ago. He doesn't say much, just sits in a rocking chair, watching the night roll in. And behind him, inside the house, silence. The kind that doesn't come from peace. The kind that comes from missing something. Pikachu notices him during a quiet walk around the square. He pauses, ears twitching. Then, without being told, he walks over. He doesn't bark, doesn't beg. He just hops up onto the porch and sits beside the man's feet. The man doesn't speak, just looks down. His eyes crinkle. You're not mine, he says softly. But you remind me of someone. Pikachu doesn't respond, just leans gently against his leg. The man exhales. I used to have a friend like you. They sit like that a long time. No movement, no words, just quiet togetherness. Because sometimes being there is the protection. Protecting someone from feeling invisible, from being forgotten, from fading into the quiet without a single soul seeing them. Later, Ash walks over on soft-footed and careful. The old man nods. He's got a good heart, that one. Ash smiles. I know. They don't ask for a photo. Don't ask his name. They just share a moment, a warm goodbye. And when Pikachu hops down from the porch, he pauses, looks up, and gently taps his paw against the man's hand once, like saying, "You're still loved," even if no one says it out loud. That night, Pikachu sleeps with his head tucked under Ash's arm, closer than usual. Because even the strongest hearts need softness too. And maybe you've been that for someone. Maybe you've shown up when no one else did. Maybe you've stayed quietly beside someone, until the silence didn't feel so heavy anymore. That's real protectiveness. And it lasts. So rest now, gentle heart. You don't need to fill every silence. You already light up the dark just by being there. Let your soul breathe tonight. Let your heart be held. You've guarded more than you know. Keep that in mind. To protect is to love with action. To choose someone else's peace, even if it costs you your own. The dream begins on a high mountain pass. The team is traveling through wind and cold. The path is narrow, the air thin. The sun is gone, hidden behind pale clouds. Ash is shivering slightly, his coat zipped up tight. The others press on carefully, but Pikachu keeps looking back. There's someone struggling behind them. A little Pichu. Not part of their group, just a small wild one, lost in the storm. He's scared, tired, freezing. Every step he takes is a little slower than the last. The others haven't noticed yet. But Pikachu has. And Pikachu stops. He turns around, walks back toward the little one, and lies down in the snow beside him. Pichu blinks, then wobbles forward, climbs shakily onto Pikachu's back. And Pikachu, though already cold and weary, walks, carefully, step by step, carrying him. Ash turns to check behind him and gasps when he sees it. Pikachu? He rushes back, sees the little one, understands immediately. He removes his scarf and gently wraps it around them both. They continue together, closer now, softer. Pikachu doesn't look for thanks, doesn't expect a reward. Because protecting someone, especially someone small, scared, and alone, that's just who he is. They reach the campsite before sunset. The team gathers around a small fire, bundled tight, warm drinks in hand. A new and great quality of Pikachu, which is its patience. Where time slows down, the world softens, and we remember some of the greatest things we do by waiting. Waiting with hope, with kindness, with quiet understanding. This is the story of how Pikachu waits, for hearts, for moments, and for love to bloom in its own time. Pikachu teaches us that patience is a kind of love, a soft way of saying, I'm here when you're ready. The dream begins in a little garden behind Professor Oak's lab. It's springtime. Ash is visiting home. Pikachu wanders freely among flowers and hedges, the sun warm on his fur. And under a small tree, a Pokémon egg sits in a soft nest of moss. It's been there for days. Watched, checked, but unmoving. Professor Oak says it's healthy. But everyone's getting a little impatient. Everyone except Pikachu. Pikachu sits beside it quietly each afternoon. Doesn't poke it. Doesn't rush it. Just hums softly. Sometimes curls his tail around it. Sometimes leans his back against the tree and listens. As if to say, you'll come when you're ready. And when you do, I'll be here. One day, May walks by and laughs gently. "You really like that egg, huh?" Pikachu just blinks, tilts his head. It's not about liking. It's about being there. Because some things need time. And time needs companionship. That night, a soft wind blows through the window. Pikachu stirs from his nap. The moonlight glows through the curtains. And from the garden, he hears it. Tap, tap, crack. He rushes out. The egg wobbles. And slowly, a tiny Togepi's head peeks out from the shell, eyes blinking, confused. And the first thing she sees? Pikachu, smiling gently, waiting just as long as he needed to, not one moment more. Not one less. Professor Oak and Ash arrive, surprised. "She waited for you," Ash said. But Pikachu knows the truth. He was the one doing the waiting. And it was worth every second. Back in the forest, Pikachu's tail curls softly in sleep. The kind of rest that comes after you've kept still long enough for something beautiful to begin. And maybe you know this kind of patience too. Maybe you've waited for someone to heal, for someone to trust you, for someone to feel safe enough to come out of their shell. You didn't rush them. You simply said, with your presence, your silence, your love, "I'll be right here when you are." So sleep now, gentle soul. The world will unfold in its own time. You don't need to chase it tonight. Just breathe. Be still. Let yourself be held. You've waited so kindly for others. Now let peace wait patiently for you. Now remember Buddy Real patience says, "I'm not going anywhere, even if this takes time." The dream begins on a training field behind the Pokémon Center. It's early morning. The grass is cool with dew, and the sky is soft and blue. Ash and Pikachu are helping a young trainer named Eli, timid, soft-spoken, with a very clumsy Charmander. Charmander tries hard. He wants to learn Flamethrower. But every time he tries, pff, a puff of smoke, a flicker, sometimes a hiccup. Eli sighs again and again. And Charmander? He gets quieter each time. Ash offers advice. Brock brings snacks. Eli practices the motions. But the tension only grows. Charmander's tail dims slightly. His shoulders droop. He's not just tired. He's embarrassed. And that's when Pikachu walks over. He sits beside Charmander quietly. Doesn't lecture. Doesn't coach. Just sits. Charmander blinks. Looks down. Let's now begin a new and great quality of Pikachu, which is its patience. Where time slows down, the world softens, and we remember some of the greatest things we do by waiting. Waiting with hope, with kindness, with quiet understanding. This is the story of how Pikachu waits, for hearts, for moments, and for love to bloom in its own time. Pikachu teaches us that patience is a kind of love, a soft way of saying, "I'm here when you're ready." The dream begins in a little garden behind Professor Oak's lab. It's springtime. Ash is visiting home. Pikachu wanders freely among flowers and hedges, the sun warm on his fur. And under a small tree, a Pokémon egg sits in a soft nest of moss. It's been there for days. Watched, checked, but unmoving. Professor Oak says it's healthy. But everyone's getting a little impatient. Everyone except Pikachu. Pikachu sits beside it quietly each afternoon. Doesn't poke it. Doesn't rush it. Just hums softly. Sometimes curls his tail around it. Sometimes leans his back against the tree and listens. As if to say, "You'll come when you're ready. And when you do, I'll be here. One day, May walks by and laughs gently. You really like that egg, huh? Pikachu just blinks, tilts his head. It's not about liking. It's about being there. Because some things need time. And time needs companionship. That night, a soft wind blows through the window. Pikachu stirs from his nap. The moonlight glows through the curtains. And from the garden, he hears it. Tap, tap, crack. He rushes out. The egg wobbles. And slowly, a tiny Togepi's head peeks out from the shell, eyes blinking, confused. And the first thing she sees? Pikachu, smiling gently, waiting just as long as he needed to, not one moment more. Not one less. Professor Oak and Ash arrive, surprised. She waited for you, Ash said. But Pikachu knows the truth. He was the one doing the waiting. And it was worth every second. Back in the forest, Pikachu's tail curls softly in sleep. The kind of rest that comes after you've kept still long enough for something beautiful to begin. And maybe you know this kind of patience too. Maybe you've waited for someone to heal, for someone to trust you, for someone to feel safe enough to come out of their shell. You didn't rush them. You simply said, with your presence, your silence, your love, I'll be right here when you are. So sleep now, gentle soul. The world will unfold in its own time. You don't need to chase it tonight. Just breathe. Be still. Let yourself be held. You've waited so kindly for others. Now let peace wait patiently for you. Now remember, Buddy Real Patience says, I'm not going anywhere, even if this takes time. The dream begins on a training field behind the Pokémon Center. It's early morning. The grass is cool with dew, and the sky is soft and blue. Ash and Pikachu are helping a young trainer named Eli, timid, soft-spoken, with a very clumsy Charmander. Charmander tries hard. He wants to learn Flamethrower. But every time he tries, pff, a puff of smoke, a flicker, sometimes a hiccup. Eli sighs again and again. And Charmander? He gets quieter each time. Ash offers advice. Brock brings snacks. Eli practices the motions. But the tension only grows. Charmander's tail dims slightly. His shoulders droop. He's not just tired. He's embarrassed. And that's when Pikachu walks over. He sits beside Charmander quietly. Doesn't lecture. Doesn't coach. Just sits. Charmander blinks. Looks down. Let's now begin a new and great quality of Pikachu, which is its patience. Where time slows down, the world softens, and we remember some of the greatest things we do by waiting. Waiting with hope, with kindness, with quiet understanding. This is the story of how Pikachu waits, for hearts, for moments, and for love to bloom in its own time. Pikachu teaches us that patience is a kind of love, a soft way of saying, I'm here when you're ready. The dream begins in a little garden behind Professor Oak's lab. It's springtime. Ash is visiting home. Pikachu wanders freely among flowers and hedges, the sun warm on his fur. And under a small tree, a Pokémon egg sits in a soft nest of moss. It's been there for days. Watched. Checked. But unmoving. Professor Oak says it's healthy. But everyone's getting a little impatient. Everyone except Pikachu. Pikachu sits beside it quietly each afternoon. Doesn't poke it. Doesn't rush it. Just hums softly. Sometimes curls his tail around it. Sometimes leans his back against the tree and listens. As if to say, you'll come when you're ready. And when you do, I'll be here. One day, May walks by and laughs gently. You really like that egg, huh? Pikachu just blinks, tilts his head. It's not about liking. It's about being there. Because some things need time. And time needs companionship. That night, a soft wind blows through the window. Pikachu stirs from his nap. The moonlight glows through the curtains. And from the garden, he hears it. Tap, tap, crack. He rushes out. The egg wobbles. And slowly, a tiny Togepi's head peeks out from the shell, eyes blinking, confused. And the first thing she sees? Pikachu, smiling gently, waiting just as long as he needed to, not one moment more. Not one less. Professor Oak and Ash arrived, surprised. She waited for you, Ash said. But Pikachu knows the truth. He was the one doing the waiting. And it was worth every second. Back in the forest, Pikachu's tail curls softly in sleep. The kind of rest that comes after you've kept still long enough for something beautiful to begin. And maybe you know this kind of patience too. Maybe you've waited for someone to heal, for someone to trust you, for someone to feel safe enough to come out of their shell. You didn't rush them. You simply said, with your presence, your silence, your love, I'll be right here when you are. So sleep now, gentle soul. The world will unfold in its own time. You don't need to chase it tonight. Just breathe. Be still. Let yourself be held. You've waited so kindly for others. Now let peace wait patiently for you. Now remember, Buddy Real Patience says, I'm not going anywhere, even if this takes time. The dream begins on a training field behind the Pokémon Center. It's early morning. The grass is cool with dew, and the sky is soft and blue. Ash and Pikachu are helping a young trainer named Eli, timid, soft-spoken, with a very clumsy Charmander. Charmander tries hard. He wants to learn Flamethrower. But every time he tries, pff, a puff of smoke, a flicker, sometimes a hiccup. Eli sighs again and again. And Charmander? He gets quieter each time. Ash offers advice. Brock brings snacks. Eli practices the motions. But the tension only grows. Charmander's tail dims slightly. His shoulders droop. He's not just tired. He's embarrassed. And that's when Pikachu walks over. Here. And you belong here. From Pikachu. From us. And from all your fellow sleepy cuties around the world. Good night. Sleep well. And we'll see you next time.